Raptors have won 5 straight games, while the Provo Angels have dropped the first 2 in this best-of-3 game series between the Ogden Raptors. Actually, I shouldn't say best-of-3 game series. It's just a 3-game set, but between these two teams with so much rivalry behind them, it's almost as if it's a best of a series. The Ogden Raptors and the Provo Angels. The Angels 4 wins and 6 losses on the season, while the Raptors have the best record in the Pioneer League, 7 wins and 3 losses. The Raptors are throwing Phil Sobko on the mound against Fernando Rodriguez here in the final home game before the team heads on the road for 5. It's Game 3 against the Ogden Raptors here at Larry H. Miller Field, and welcome out to the broadcast booth. And we've seen some interesting games the past couple of contests against the Ogden Raptors. When you look at the numbers, just last night alone, the Provo Angels were 1 for 12 with runners on base. And that only hit they had was a 3-run shot by Andrew Toussaint. So clearly the Provo Angels have had their difficult times throughout this series of pushing the runs and getting them across the plate. They stranded 10 runners in scoring position during this entire series with the Raptors, and they have stranded 20 in scoring position since beginning the homestand against Idaho Falls. So if one thing has to change, it's going to have to be a little more selective at the bat, show patience, choke up a little bit. Kochman stresses choking up. In fact, one of the things that Kochman says is, there's a guy named Barry Bonds who hit 73 home runs while choking up on a bat. Choke up on the bat. That's been his stress for this Provo Angels team. They got a good-looking club, couple new additions, obviously, with Sean Rodriguez joining the club last night. Rodriguez being sent down from Cedar Rapids, and Richard Giannotti from the University of Miami. He'll be making his first start of the game. So the Angels are set to have a good lineup. Let's see what they can do, though, tonight against the Ogden Raptors as it's Game 3 of this 3-game series. The Angels open up a 2-game set in Idaho Falls beginning tomorrow. In fact, Friday's game will be a doubleheader. It'll be a makeup from the rainout/power outage game that they were unable to play in last week. So the Angels will be playing 3 against Idaho Falls and then 3 against the Ogden Raptors before they head back home for a series against Casper and Ogden again. Stay with us. It's Provo Angels baseball here on SportsJuice.com. We'll bring it right back out here as it is game time here at Larry H. Miller Field. Back out here at Larry H. Miller Field. Let's go ahead and look over the Pioneer League scoreboard from last night. Idaho Falls defeating the Casper Rockies up in Casper, Wyoming by a score of 5-3. The Idaho Falls Chuckers stranded all 5 of their runs throughout the game. They're able to defeat the Rockies 5-3 as Idaho Falls now 5-5 in the South Division. Helena Brewers defeating the Great Falls White Sox in Helena. The Brewers a 6-1 victory over Great Falls, as the Brewers have the best record in the North Division at 7 wins and 4 losses. Also, the Missoula Osprey defeating the Billings Mustangs 9-1 in Missoula. And you look at the numbers for that team, they've been hitting the ball with some pretty good effectiveness during the last couple of games. So Missoula defeats Billings. All those same teams will be duking it out for their final game before they move on and do the shuffle here in the Pioneer League, as Idaho Falls will go and play, obviously, the Provo Angels, and Casper and Ogden will play a series in Ogden. So we get set for some great Pioneer League action tonight. Phil Sobko, the right-hander, on the mound for the Ogden Raptors, while Fernando Rodriguez, an 18th round draft pick last year by the Anaheim Angels, will be taking the mound for Provo. Hopefully, if things work out tonight, the Angels can be a little more patient at the bat, a little more selective with their pitches, and snap the Ogden Raptors' 5-game winning streak. We're out here at Larry H. Miller Field. It's a beautiful night. Come on out here, enjoy some exciting Angels baseball. $8 Superbox tickets, $6 for reserved and festival seating, and that's the prices all year long. Give up the ticket window a call, 422-8225. And if you're thinking of bringing a group out to the ballpark, 377-BALL. That's 377-BALL and get your group out to the ballpark. Again, we're just moments away from game time. As soon as we come back from the national anthem and the Field of Dreams team, we'll get you all set up with tonight's starting lineups as the Angels and the Raptors getting set for Game 3. I'm your host, Jacob Peters, giving you all the play-by-play action, and join Zach Frazier in the middle innings as he'll jump on the mic and do the play-by-play for you as well. We'll be back as you're listening to SportsJuice.com.
Shortstop, Sean Rodriguez. And his field is the Dreams buddy, Alex Cloward. Second baseman, Joshua LeBlanc. His field is Dreams buddy, Spencer Wall. First baseman, Cliff Remele. His field is Dreams buddy, Kendrick Gibson. Catcher, Ben Johnson. His field is Dreams buddy, Chase Edmonds. And pitching tonight, Fernando Rodriguez. And his Field of Dreams buddy, Alex Burrows. Let's welcome the rest of your Provo Angels for 2004. Your Angels coaching staff are trainer Aaron Wells, strength coach James Shaw, pitching coach Steve Zimmerman, hitting coach Kevin Kent, and manager Tom Washwood. Tonight's umpires are Roy Feller and Mike Lusky. Tonight's national anthem will be performed by Matt Lowry.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we came as the twilight flashed away, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, save us that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free.
Game 3 begins now. The Ogden Raptors and the Provo Angels welcome out to the booth. I'm your host, Jacob Peters. We had an interesting game yesterday. Like I mentioned earlier, the Angels played good. They just were having a very difficult time bringing those runs across the plate. They had stranded guys, they stranded 10 guys in scoring position during the first two games against the Ogden Raptors. Happy birthday, of course, to Mike Perdomo last night as he hit a home run in the ninth, which made it an interesting game. But with two runners on base, Ben Johnson, pinch hitter, struck out to end last night's contest as the Angels got defeated by a score of 5-4. Tonight, though, hopefully things will change as Phil Sotko on the mound, 10 innings pitched, 14 strikeouts as he leads the Ogden Raptors in that department. He'll be opposed by your very own Fernando Rodriguez, the right-hander for the Angels, who has pitched in 4 1/3 innings, has faced 21 batters, has yet to strike out somebody, but he's pitched pretty good so far in the season. Let's go ahead and look at the Ogden Raptors lineup for this evening's contest. Brandon Carter, the shortstop, will be leading things off. He is a left-hander. Travis Denker at second base. From the right side, he hits second. Blake DeWitt, one of the first-rounders on this Ogden Raptors team, he's batting in the 3 spot at third base. Corey Dunlap, the first baseman, will be cleaning things up. Danny Batts in right field will be hitting fifth. B.J. Richmond in center field, hitting sixth for the Raptors. And Cole Bruce, this will be the first time we'll see Cole Bruce. In fact, this is his first official game as a member of the Ogden Raptors. He's the DH out of the University of Houston. He'll be hitting seventh. Hector Arias in left field, he'll be batting eighth. And Kenshil Pujols, the catcher, he's over at 13 to start off his season with the Ogden Raptors. The Pujols in the 9th spot. Fernando Rodriguez, the right-hander, on the mound for the Angels as we get set for baseball here at Larry H. Miller Field. Just an absolutely beautiful evening for baseball. The sun is shining brightly. The mountains are towering above us. Clouds in the distance. But it is a beautiful night. Brandon Carter from the left side. He gets set to take his at-bats against Fernando Rodriguez. And the first pitch, it'll be a strike inside, 0-1. Brandon Carter out of Old Dominion University, a 40th round draft pick this season, and he'll shot a ground ball right past Cliff Remele at first, and that'll go into right field. So Brandon Carter getting a pitch inside, but pulling it past Remele. Carter starts things off with a single, and it'll be Travis Denker, the right-hander, getting set. Denker, a 21st round pick last season by the Dodgers. Currently a 174 hitter. Denker from Bray, California. He bats from the right. Runner at first in the first pitch. It'll be a strike, 0-1. The Raptors have won 5 straight games. Obviously the first 2 in this series. And they also played very good against the Casper Rockies in the series. 0-1, and Rodriguez, quick snap over to first base as Carter gets back safely. Brandon Carter with some pretty good speed over there at first. Fernando Rodriguez, a quick worker, as he moves to the slide step. No balls in the strike. Here's the pitch, and it'll be high, 1-1. We'll get you up to date with all the scores in the big leagues tonight and also give you a look around the Angels organization. Let you know how all the affiliates of Anaheim are doing as well. Give you a Provo Angels watch as well. The 1-1 pitch, it'll be foul down the third base side. 1-2. Hit hard, but just pulled. Defensively for the Angels, Ben Johnson behind the plate. Cliff Remele at first, Joshua LeBlanc at second, and then Sean Rodriguez at shortstop, and Nate Sutton playing at the hot corner at third. Good defense for the Angels. Rodriguez breaking pitch, rings them up, outside part of the plate. Travis Denker took it looking, and he is out number 1 here in the first. Blake DeWitt from the left side, a first-rounder by the Los Angeles Dodgers, one of 3 first-rounders who were selected in this year's amateur draft. A lot of people might wonder, how does a team get 3 picks in the first round? We'll explain it in just a minute. Foul ball straight back, 0-1. Blake DeWitt, the 28th overall pick out of high school, out of Missouri. He's one of 2 first-rounders scouted and signed by the Dodgers scout Mitch Webster. He had committed to Georgia Tech, but instead, when you're a first-rounder, you almost got to take it. He'll take a ball outside, 1-1. But DeWitt, a good line drive type swinger. He's got a good lift in his bat. He has a sound hitting approach, and he's pretty aggressive at the plate. And we've seen his abilities, at least in game 1 of this series, as Ben Johnson heads out to the mound for just a moment. Even though DeWitt did strike out 3 times in the first game, he was aggressive. He was fouling balls off. He did reach base twice during the first game. Didn't play yesterday, and here he is starting tonight for the Raptors. A ball and a strike. DeWitt from the left side. Here's the pitch by Rodriguez. And a fastball outside part of the corner, 1-2. The Angels get on the bus tonight. We head up to Idaho Falls to take on the Chuckers for 3 games. A doubleheader on Friday. It's a makeup from last week's game. DeWitt takes a breaking pitch inside, and he will strike out looking. So after Brandon Carter led off the first inning with a single pass Cliff Remele at first, Rodriguez has his first 2 strikeouts of the season, both of them looking. So with 2 outs on the board, Corey Dunlap gets set. Dunlap, a third-round pick, was playing in the Junior College League in Northern California. He'll take a ball high, 1-0. A 500 hitter at the JC level, the top batting average for any JC player in the country. So obviously a third-round pick was wise for the Dodgers. 1-0, Rodriguez looking. Here's the pitch. Good strike inside, 1-1. Rodriguez right now is mixing things up. He's throwing them in, out, north, south. As he's throwing pretty good. Entering the game, he had faced 21 batters. He had given up 6 hits, gave up 6 runs, but things look a little different tonight. Even though it is still early, runner going. Here's a throw by Ben Johnson to second. The slap is not in time. So Rodriguez covering second base, but it was a high throw by Johnson. Carter steals the base, but Corey Dunlap takes a strike. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs on the board. Carter now in scoring position as we're in the top of the first inning, game 3 against the Ogden Raptors here in the 2004 Pioneer League season. Pitch is inside. The field umpire says he did not cross the plane. That'll even things up at 2-2. If you want to find out more about all the top draft picks in Major League Baseball, log on to MLB.com and search under Draft Day. You'll get the complete list for every team and all their top picks, including the Anaheim Angels. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and Rodriguez stepping off the mound. Angels have had some very good picks. So have the Dodgers and a couple other teams, the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. 2-2, it's popped up into shallow left field. Michael Perdomo and now the third baseman, Nate Sutton, will float back to recover it. So the inning is over. 1 runner stranded. Fernando Rodriguez out of the inning. We head to the bottom of the first. No score, and your Provo Angels coming up to bat. Provo Angels Baseball brought to you by many fine sponsors, including Monarch Harley Davidson, Legends Grill, Arno Construction, Barber Brothers, Fresh Juice Media, New Ways, and a variety and many, many other wonderful sponsors who have made Angels Baseball possible here in their 4th season in the Pioneer League. Let's go ahead and look at the lineup for the Provo Angels tonight. Richard Giannotti, the center fielder, will be leading things off. He played at the University of Miami. Very good program out there as they were 50-13 this season. Richard Giannotti, a 38th round pick. Nate Sutton at third base. He'll be hitting second. Sean Rodriguez, the shortstop, batting third. Ben Johnson, the catcher, will be cleaning things up. And Cliff Remele in the 5 spot. He's also at first base. Michael Hughes in right field. He'll be batting 6th. Caleb Mayer, the designated hitter, at the 7th spot. Michael Perdomo in left field, batting 8th. And Joshua LeBlanc at second base will be finishing things off in the 9th spot. Phil Sopko on the mound for the Ogden Raptors. Sopko, 10 innings pitched this season, 14 strikeouts. He began the season in the South Atlantic League with the Columbus Catfish, but after 7 starts and a 7.36 ERA, the Dodgers decided to send him back to Ogden, where he had been pitching in 2003. So Sopko with the Raptors, but started off the year in Columbus. Richard Giannotti, his first pro start. A 260 hitter at the University of Miami. It was the lowest batting average for any regular on that University of Miami Hurricane team, but still, Giannotti playing for a very good program out there. And hopefully he brings that winning attitude here to the Provo Angels. Giannotti, a switch hitter. Sopko's first pitch, it'll be high and outside, a ball and no strikes. Bottom of the first inning, the Ogden Raptors and the Provo Angels. Giannotti waits, and the next pitch will sell outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Giannotti has a similar body type to Nate Sutton, and Nate Sutton is in the 2 spot tonight. Both guys have similar approaches to the game of baseball. Giannotti, a very patient hitter. 2 balls, no strikes. And again, it'll be outside, 3-0. So Phil Sopko, 10 innings pitched, 6 hits, 6 walks, and 14 strikeouts. That's the big number for him. He's a strikeout-type pitcher. However, Giannotti at a 3-0 count. Here's the pitch. It is high, and Giannotti heads over to first base with a leadoff walk. In his first professional at-bat, he takes the base. Nate Sutton now digs in, a .444 hitter. A 24th round pick. Sutton, a very good athlete. He's been impressive to start off this season with the Angels. Nate Sutton from the left side. As Phil Sopko getting set, and the first pitch will be a strike down the middle, 0-1. Nate Sutton at the UC Santa Barbara. .290 batting average this year at the collegiate level. 71 runs scored in 54 games. Not too bad of a ratio. Sutton waiting patiently. The next pitch shows bunt, but it'll be popped back into the stands. And that puts the count at 0 balls and 2 strikes. Now the Provo Angels were out here early today working on the bunt. Working on some proper mechanics, when to move guys over. They were out here for about an hour and a half earlier today just practicing bunting. Hopefully those drills pay off for them. 0 balls and 2 strikes to Nate. And Sopko's pitch, it'll be slapped foul down the third base side. Final game in this homestand for the Provo Angels. They head on the road for 6 games in 5 days before coming back home to take on the Raptors again and then the Casper Rockies. 0-2 to Nate Sutton. Runner at first is Giannotti. Here's the pitch, and Sutton strikes out. His 4th strikeout of the season. Sutton heads back to the dugout, 1 gone, and now Sean Rodriguez digs in. Rodriguez was playing at Cedar Rapids earlier in the year, a 250 hitter at Cedar. But obviously with Billy Boyer getting called up, somebody had to come down, and Rodriguez is that player. Last year played the entire season in Arizona. Skipped over the Provo Angels and started this year at Low A Cedar Rapids. Rodriguez, though, a very good athlete. He's been playing actively since early April when the season started for Cedar Rapids. Rodriguez from the right side, runner fakes the go, and he's going to pop it the opposite way. That'll drop for a base hit. The ball will roll all the way out to Danny Bass down the line in right field, and Giannotti takes third, and Rodriguez gets himself a double to the opposite field. Good piece of hitting by Rodriguez as he stayed back on the pitch and was able to go the opposite way with it. So a double down the line, runners at third and second. Now here's the situation that the Angels have had a very difficult time during this homestand. Ben Johnson was in a similar spot last night in the bottom of the 9th. He had a couple men on base, was unable to capitalize, and let's see what he can do here. Johnson, a switch hitter, 1 out on the board. A fly ball will give the Angels the lead. A base hit could very well give them a 2-run lead. The catcher, Kenjil Pujols, will talk with Phil Sopko as pitcher. Defensively for the Raptors, Corey Dunlap at first base, Travis Denker at second, Brandon Carter at short, and Blake DeWitt at third base. Hector Arias in left, BJ Richmond in center, and Danny Batts in right. Runners at third and second, one out, and Ben Johnson getting set. A switch hitter who is batting from the left side, and first pitch he'll take is high for a ball, 1-0. Ben Johnson with 7 home runs and 29 RBIs at the University of Washington this year. Like I said, a 23rd round pick. Currently hitting .217 with the Angels. There's the pitch. There's a shot down the right field line. Could be trouble, but it'll drift foul by about 10 feet as it lands on the warning track. So Johnson pulling it, but just a little too much, and that evens things up at a ball and a strike. The Angels 1 for 12 last night with runners on base. They took extra BP today. They took some extra drills, and hopefully it'll pay off as the Angels, first time ever, have started off 4 and 6. Johnson at the bat, and Phil Sopko getting the sign from his catcher Pools. Here's the pitch, breaking ball, and Johnson will tap it behind the plate, actually into the Raptors dugout. A ball and 2 strikes. So Giannotti with good speed at third base, Rodriguez at second with good speed, and with 2 strikes against Ben Johnson. This is a situation where normally you would choke up about a half an inch. Johnson's going to keep his bottom hand on the bottom of the knob. A ball, 2 strikes, and Johnson now stepping out. The sun is still shining here at Larry H. Miller Field. The lights are turned on, and it's just a gorgeous night. The mountains look beautiful beyond the outfield wall. One of the more pretty ballparks in all of minor league baseball. The 1-2 pitch, it'll be swung on and missed outside, but Johnson goes fishing, and that is out number 2. So for the second straight at-bat, Johnson strikes out with the runners on base. Cliff Remele gets set now. Another left-hander. Remele out of Georgia Tech, a .344 hitter, put up some very good numbers. Had the second highest average on that Georgia Tech team. .344 hitter, 15 doubles, and had 56 RBIs. Good for an 11th round draft pick. With 2 outs, Phil Sopko set, and it'll be a fastball at the knees on the outer third of the plate, 0-1. Richard Giannotti at third base, Sean Rodriguez at second, 2 outs. Remele from the left, and Phil Sopko again with the pitch outside, but this time it'll be a ball. 1-1 count. We'll get you up to date with a lot of games going on in the big leagues. There's also a lot of finals already. A couple afternoon games. The Angels take on the Oakland A's later on tonight. John Lackey against Barry Zito. We'll keep you posted on that contest. The 1-1 pitch is low, 2-1. And also give you some information on the Salt Lake Stingers and what they've been up to. Stingers have actually been winning as of late. So we'll get you all the recaps and much more. 2 balls and 1 strike. Cliff Remele waits from the left side of the batter's box. Sopko again, and that one will paint the outside part of the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Richard Giannotti started off the inning with a walk. And after Nate Sutton struck out, Sean Rodriguez doubled him to third. And those 2 guys have been there after Ben Johnson struck out. The 2-2 pitch, breaking ball, and Remele just gets a piece of it as he swings and is able to just tap it foul, 2-2. This is a huge game for the Angels because obviously the Raptors have been a rival since they first got here in 2001. And if the Raptors walk away with a sweep, then it's basically sending a statement to Provo. Of course, the Dodgers had a great draft this summer outside to fill things up at 3-2. 4 wins and 6 losses for the Provo Angels. 7 wins, 3 losses for the Ogden Raptors. Full counts. 2 outs on the board, 2 runners on. Remele waits patiently. Sopko delivers. and it'll be fouled off the screen behind the plate to keep things full. Stick with us throughout the game. Zach Frazier will be giving you play-by-play in the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings. I'll be doing the first 3 and the final 3 of this contest, as my partner and I giving you all the play-by-play action this year for the Provo Angels. Full count pitch again. Chopper, third baseman, is going to have an interesting play. DeWitt throws over to first, and he's safe. So Blake DeWitt got a high chopper in front of the mound, and by the time it landed in his glove, Remele was just about at first. A good throw, but it'll be an infield single, and the Angels take the lead for the first time against the Ogden Raptors here in the 2004 season. It'll be an RBI single, Giannotti scoring, Rodriguez at third, and now Michael Hughes getting set. Hughes 4 for 32 with the Provo Angels this season. Out of the University of Illinois, Chicago. Hughes, a free agent pickup. From the right side, Rodriguez at third and Remele at first. Phil Sopko's pitch, that's going to be a base hit down the right field line. Rolling to Daniel Batt. Rodriguez will score. Remele will take third base. Now the Provo Angels lead this contest by a score of 2-0. Now that's some two-out base hits. Some clutch base hits. After last night, they were 1 for 12 in the same situation. Back-to-back singles, and the Angels lead 2-0. Caleb Mayer getting set. Remele now at third. Caleb Mayer, one of the better hitters for the Angels to start off this season. A .357 average. Here's another guy who started off the year in Cedar Rapids. So he was playing back in April when everybody else was wondering where they were going to get drafted. Mayer takes the ball, 1-0. A 2-0 Provo Angels lead here in the first. A good way to start off tonight's contest. Sopko waits, delivers, and it's outside for a ball, 2-0. Now the two outs that Phil Sopko does have here in the first inning, they're both on strikeouts, so that gives him 16 strikeouts in 10 and 2/3. He's a good strikeout pitcher, but when he hangs these pitches, these Provo batters are taking advantage of it. 2-0 to Mayer. Here it is, and he'll swing through it. 2-1. Don't forget to visit ProvoAngels.com for all your exciting Angels information. Find out exactly what the team's doing in the community. Read wonderful game recaps by Zach Frazier and get you up to date with all the happenings with the Angels. Low and outside for a ball. That puts the count at 3-1. A very good hitter's count right here. Obviously, Sopko doesn't want to miss the plate and walk the batter. But then again, you want to try to force Mayer to swing at something outside. So, depending on how aggressive Sopko is, we'll find that out right here. The 3-1 pitch, grounder off of his leg, deflects to the third baseman, and it'll be considered a base hit. So Mayer shot it right up the middle, but it was deflected off of Sopko's leg and bounced into foul territory near the third base side. But either way, that's a hit. So the third Provo Angel run scores. It's now 3-0 Provo. The trainer for the Ogden Raptors is going to be out here just checking out his pitcher. It's Robert Passard out there. Caleb Mayer gets credited with an infield single. An interesting deflection right there, and luckily for the pitcher, he deflected it because that gave Mayer a chance to beat it out. It was a tricky play for the infielders at that point. It's now 3-0 Provo. 3 straight hits with 2 outs on the board. And I'm sure the Angels, if they could have just had one of those hits last night, then things could have been quite different. Sopko just throwing a couple pitches off the mound to see how he feels. It looks like he's going to be okay. This gives me a chance to let you know that we have some great group opportunities for you this season. Come out to the ballpark. Tonight we had a group of about 500 who participated in the barbecue pit. They're out there enjoying all-you-can-eat barbecue, hamburgers, hot dogs. They're kicking back down near the right field line under the 10th. Bring a company out. Give us a call at 377-BALL. That's 377-BALL or 2255. So Get out to the ballpark. Plenty of Angels action available throughout the summer. Michael Perdomo homered last night on his 23rd birthday. Let's see what he can do for us with 2 men on base. Michael Hughes at second. Taylor Mayer at first. Perdomo, a 19th round pick in 2002. Sobko delivers, and the pitch, it'll be a strike, but cuts the outside part of the plate, 0-1. So the Angels showing their aggressiveness this inning as they beat out a couple infield singles and good piece of hitting by Michael Hughes. 3 runs on 4 hits here in the first. No balls in the strike to Michael Perdomo. Here's the pitch. And he'll swing through it, 0-2. This is what Koshman likes to see. He likes to see his Angels score runs early because, as you know, most baseball games are won in the first couple innings and the last couple innings. And if they can score early, it gives their pitcher something to work with. And it basically says to the rest of the injured players, hey, we can do this throughout the whole game. The 0-2 pitch is outside for a ball. Michael Perdomo out of Miami, Florida, of Cuban descent. Earlier in the season, somebody had mentioned he was Venezuelan, but he's a Cuban through and through. Family sending an email last night wishing him a happy birthday, and he sent them back a response with a home run. He'll swing through this fastball high, though. It's Bill Sobko strikes out the side, but he also gives up 3 runs. So the Angels leading 3-0. We head to the top of the second as the Ogden Raptors get set to take their at-bats here at Larry H. Miller Field.
Shops in the Riverwood, fall in love with this great new revolution in comfort. Feel the love today. All right, kids, head on back to the McDonald's guest services booth. You can sign up to participate in the Corrales Chicken Can and the 7th inning stretch.
Please.
All right, fans, listen to this. Tonight is Weenie Wednesday. Buy 1 hot dog, get 1 free.
I was going to say, I can't believe you're over there with the window closed. I was going to say, I can't believe you're over there with the window closed. No. Top of the second inning, Danny Batts, B.J. Richmond, and Cole Bruce to take their shots against Fernando Rodriguez. The Angels leading right now by a score of 3-0 as they score all 3 of their runs with 2 outs on the board in the first. The Angels off to a good start in tonight's contest against the Ogden Raptors. Keep it with us throughout the season as great Angels baseball will be brought to you here on SportsJuice.com. All Angel action, including playoffs, here on SportsJuice.com. Zach Frazier and Jacob Peters giving you all the play-by-play action. Danny Batts, a 6th rounder out of the University of Rhode Island. He gets set to take his at-bats. Currently a .370 hitter for the Raptors. And the first pitch to Batts, it'll be a ball outside, 1-0. Danny Batts, pretty good numbers at the University of Rhode Island. .406 hitter with 12 home runs and 59 RBIs. Not too bad. Rodriguez, next pitch will be low and outside, 2-0. The Raptors, winners of 5 straight contests. The Angels looking to snap that right here. Danny Batts at the bat, swinging the Louisville bat. Kind of a cool baseball name. We'll get you the Major League scoreboards in just a moment. Let you know what games are finals in the big leagues. bats. He'll take another one outside, 3-0. So Fernando Rodriguez, who only has one walk through the first 26 batters he's faced this season, is threatening to walk bats. Strike outside part of the plate, 3-1. Provo Angels here at Larry H. Miller Field. Beautiful ballpark, beautiful scenery, and a great town, Provo, Utah. Good family-oriented place. A lot of great people out here enjoying baseball. Full count to Danny Batts as he fouls one to the screen. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Rodriguez set. Here it is. Ground ball right to LeBlanc at second. He'll pick it up with ease. Throws over to first. It's a wide throw, but Cliff Remillet able to apply the tag as he's nearly falling over. So LeBlanc pulling his first baseman off the bag, but Remillet has the awareness to quickly do a swipe tag as the runner goes right past him. 1 gone here in the second, and B.J. Richmond, 273 hitter with the Raptors. Rodriguez, first pitch, will be drilled into left field. Perdomo was playing in. Now he has to chase it back, and it'll bounce in front of the New Way sign. So it'll be a 1-out double by Richmond. Perdomo was playing him way in, and Richmond just able to sock it over the head, opposite field. A 1-out double, and it's going to be Cole Bruce digging in. Don't forget, Angel fans, also log on to FutureAngels.com and get to know what all your great ex-Provo players and the future of the Anaheim Angels are up to. On FutureAngels.com, they cover every team in the Angels system, all the way from Arizona to Cedar Rapids to Salt Lake and Arkansas. First pitch to Bruce. It'll be a ball outside, 1-0. Umpires tonight are Roy Connor and Mike Lusky. Connor behind the plate, Lusky in the field. Cole Bruce out of the University of Houston. This is his first game with the Raptors. And he'll swing through the pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. And now the runner is picked off as the snap throw by Ben Johnson, the second, gets away. So B.J. Richmond will take third base on the throw. Looks like it'll be an E2. So Richmond now with third. 1 out on the board. Let's see what the Angels infield opts to do. 1 ball and 1 strike to Cole. 351 hitter, 18 doubles at the University of Houston. Best hitter on that Cougar team. University of Houston, that is. The 1-1 pitch inside for a ball. So Cole Bruce, free agent pickup. The Dodgers have a lot of good players on this. Dodgers did a great job drafting this year. A lot of their top players are here in Ogden to start off their careers. 2-1 outside, 3 balls and 1 strike. Now here's the situation. Obviously on a 3-1 count, it's not a bad thing if Cole Bruce gets on first base because a ground ball can end the inning. Rodriguez just trying to make Bruce chase something away, and if he misses, so be it. You now have double play depth. The 3-1 pitch, it'll be popped up into right field. Michael Hughes will go back. That should be deep enough to score the runner. Hughes getting the ball in. Good throw, but Cole Bruce getting the sacrifice fly as the Raptors put their first run on the board. So fly ball to right field right down the line. It's now 3-1 Provo. 2 outs, nobody on, and Hector Arias digs in. Arias last year playing in the Gulf Coast League. Starting off this season here in Ogden. First pitch, it'll be a ball low, 1-0. So let's go ahead and look at the scoreboard really fast. The Pittsburgh Pirates defeat the Cardinals again. This time, a close game as the Cardinals tied it up in the top of the ninth. Pirates won it in the bottom of the ninth. 6-5 final as the Pirates trying to get themselves pretty close in that National League Central. Also, the Houston Astros defeat the Chicago Cubs 3-2. Interesting game. Craig Biggio with a couple of home runs. Carlos Beltran also going deep for Houston. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Hector Arias. And a couple other games are getting close to being done. There's a couple in the 9th and 8th innings. 1 ball, 2 strikes, breaking pitch right over the plate, and Hector Arias will strike out looking to end the inning. But the Raptors do put 1 run on the board. We head to the bottom of the second. Provo 3 and the Raptors 1.
Direct your attention to the first base dugout, where Jim is standing by.
Hey fans, quite a game tonight. We've seen a lot of great baseball, but I don't know how many of you were here to see that first pitch tonight. But I'll tell you, Lynn Cran will smoke one right across the plate. He's affectionately known as the main man for DHI Computing Service. So let's give Lynn one more round of applause for a job well done as we started off. Thank you, Lynn, and thanks DHI for joining us. I've got Bob Chisworth here. We got a question from Easton. You guys might need to help him out a little bit, but here we go. In the old days, professional baseball used to be played until a team reached a certain number of runs instead of 9-inning games we see today, like here. How many runs were needed to win the contest? 9, 12, 21, or 25? So let's cheer for the one you think is right. How about 9? 12? 21? Okay, 25. Okay, Brian, we got you knowing there. What are you going to guess? I think I'm going to go with 21. Well, I'll tell you, first of all,
Bottom of the second inning, the Provo Angels lead this contest by a score of 3-1. Don't forget, log on to ProvoAngels.com and get all your Angels information. Zach Frazier, the Media Relations Director, does a good job keeping that website up to date. Joshua LeBlanc, Richard Giannotti, and Nate Sutton to take their shots against Phil Sopko here in the bottom of the second inning. This day in baseball history, 1995, 9 years ago, Eddie Murray hits a single in the 6th inning against Minnesota's Mike Trombley. And that single is very significant because it is his 3,000th career hit, becoming just the 20th player to reach that mark as the Indians defeat the Twins 4-1. So it was this date, 9 years ago, that Eddie Murray hit the single for hit number 300, becoming only the 3rd major leaguer to ever have 3,000 hits in 500 home runs. And for the trivia question, drop me an email, jpeters@provoangels.com, and let me know who the other 2 members of that 3,000 hit 500 home run club are. We'll try to get you some tickets to an upcoming Angels game if you're local, or give you a shout out over the internet if you're not from Utah County. First pitch to Joshua LeBlanc is a strike, 0-1. LeBlanc has started off the season 3 for 21. Shows bunt, gets it right back to the pitcher, Sopko. High throw over to first base, but LeBlanc is out. And again, this team, they practiced, they worked on their bunting skills. A lot of them figuring, hey, I might be able to bunt for a base hit. LeBlanc, though, is out, number 1. And it's going to be the leadoff hitter, Richard Giannotti. Tom Kochman and the rest of the Angels staff, they're basically just trying to figure out who's going to fit where in the lineup. And this is Giannotti's first game with the Angels, and they say, hey, why not have the guy lead off? He's a center fielder. He's a switch hitter. And he played at probably one of the most winningest programs in collegiate baseball history, the University of Miami. The 1-0 pitch to Giannotti will take a strike outside, 1-1. Giannotti, a .260 hitter for the University of Miami that won 50 games. They were 50-13 in the season. The 1-1 pitch by Sopko was outside, 2-1. The only downfall is Giannotti had the worst average on the team for any regular. But he's still a gamer. He knows how to win, and he's brought that winning attitude with him to the Provo Angels. 2 balls and a strike. He'll swing through the pitch to even things up at 2-2. We're in the bottom of the second inning. Provo Angels 3, the Ogden Raptors 1. As it's the final game of this homestand between these 2 teams, but still plenty of great Angels action in the books for the season. And the Angels will go on the road for 6 games before returning home for a 5-game stand. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Giannotti. Nate Sutton in the on-deck circle. Giannotti, a 38th round draft pick by the Angels. Sobko's set. Here's the pitch, and he will strike him out. Sobko has 4 strikeouts through the first 5 possible outs here in this contest. 2 gone. Giannotti heads back to the dugout, and Nate Sutton from the left side, a very difficult guy to strike out. Sutton currently leading the team with a .444 average. He's been on fire to start the year off. Batting from the left, here's the first pitch, and it'll be a strike at the knees and over the plate, 0-1. Nate Sutton had a phenomenal series up in Casper, Wyoming. He's had some good hits here during this homestand, but hasn't played as often. Both him and Andrew Toussaint have been splitting that time at third base. A ball and a strike with 2 outs on the board. Bottom of the second. Bill Sobko, the right-hander, getting set. Here it is. And it's outside, 2-1. Don't forget, keep it here, as Zach Frazier will give you play-by-play between the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings. And then I'll be back with you for the bottom 3 here at Provo Angels Baseball. Nate Sutton will swing through the next pitch to even things up at 2-2. We'll also look at the Anaheim Angels stats this year and kind of let you know what Angel players are on fire, what guys are not, and where they might need some help through the Angel system. 2-2. Pitches high and outside, and that'll fill things up again. 3 balls and 2 strikes. We also have some more this date in baseball histories for you, some pretty neat ones too. And the Angels trivia question as well. Full count. Kenjin Pujols, the catcher, giving the sign, and the pitch, it'll be high. Sutton knew it as he heads over to first base with a 2-out walk. Sean Rodriguez, who doubled in the first and really got things started for the Angels. Rodriguez last night in his first game with Provo, he collected a couple singles, also had a couple strikeouts. But clearly he can hit the ball at this level as he got sent down from low A Cedar Rapids. Grounder, though, right to the shortstop, Brandon Carter. He's going to field it, throw over to first, and that'll end the inning. So Nate Sutton is stranded at first. Phil Sobko pitches out of the inning. We head to the top of the third. Angels 3 and the Ogden Raptors 1. Top of the third inning, the Angels leading this game by a score of 3-1 as the Angels scored all 3 of their runs in the first inning. The Raptors will be sending up their 9, 1, and 2 hitters here in the third. And don't forget, Angel fans, all your great Angels excitement here at Larry H. Miller Field throughout this summer. This will be the last time that your Provo Angels will be playing at this ballpark. So if you haven't had a chance to come out and really enjoy the games, do it this summer, because next year we'll be in a brand new ballpark located right next to UVSC Parkway Crossing Stadium as the Angels get set for their 5th year and hopefully the beginning of a long tenor here in Provo, Utah. Kenjio Pujols 0 for 13 to start off his season with the Ogden Raptors. Kenjin Pujols from the right, a free agent pickup last year, and the first pitch he'll take is a ball 1-0. Provo 3, Ogden 1. As the Angels trying to walk away with the victory here and avoid a sweep. Next pitch is outside, 2-0. Defensively for the Angels, Michael Perdomo in left field, Richard Giannotti in center, and Michael Hughes in right. Both of those guys, all three of those guys in the sunlight, as well as the third baseman and the shortstop. 2 balls and no strikes to Pujols. Rodriguez getting set. Here it comes. And this one will be over the strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. But the Angels with a pretty good defense today. Nate Sutton at third base has a great glove. Sean Rodriguez, a very good shortstop. And the 2-2 pitch rings up Pujols. Out number 1 here in the third. The 4th strikeout for Fernando Rodriguez. And now back to the top of the order as Brandon Carter gets set. If you're looking to do some sponsorship with the Provo Angels, give us a call, 377-BALL. That's 377-BALL, as we can direct you to basically put something on the board for you. Whether you want to have a booth at the ballpark, or you're thinking about sponsoring the webcasts, or if you just want to come out, do a promotion or a giveaway, you give us a call at 377-2255. That's 377-BALL for all your Angels action. Brandon Carter getting set. Cliff Remele had to run into the dugout for a moment. Looked like he had to get something for his glove. Carter from the left here in the top of the third. Here's the pitch by Fernando. Bunt shown, and he's going to pull back, but he'll take a strike. 0-1. Brandon Carter out of Old Dominion University. A 40th round pick by the Dodgers. Tying inside, 1-1 count. But Carter, a .309 hitter with 24 RBIs at Old Dominion. The 1-1 pitch is fouled down the left field side, 1-2. But he spent all of last season at Old Dominion. Only played 1 year for the college before getting picked up by the Dodgers. Decided that a professional career might be something he'd want to look into. And a lot of times these ball players, they decide to go in the 30th and 40th rounds and, skip out the rest of their college career, and they don't realize they could be released and never playing again. The 2-2 pitch, though, that'll be a base hit into right field. Michael Hughes picking it up in right center, and Brandon Carter with his second hit of the game. This one, a line drive single to that gap. So Carter on first base with good speed, and Travis Denker getting set as he struck out in the first inning. 3 runs on 4 hits for the Provo Angels, 1 run on 3 hits for the Ogden Raptors. And Rodriguez getting set. Happy birthday to a couple big leaguers right now. Chang Ho Park celebrating his 31st birthday, and Garrett Anderson, one of the stars for the Anaheim Angels. Anderson has been an underrated outfielder, but it is Garrett Anderson's birthday. He was born on this date, 1972, as he gets set to take on the Oakland A's in about 15 minutes up in Oakland. That game should get started. Denker from the right, and it'll be a strike. 0-1. Also born on this date, Mark Grudzielanek. Grudzielanek, an underrated player, but he's had a pretty good career. And also one of the slick fielding shortstops of all time, Tony Fernandez. 0-1, and Denker swings through a breaking pitch. No balls and 2 strikes. Top of the third inning, 3-1 Provo here at Larry H. Miller Field. A good crowd for a Wednesday night. Obviously, D&I computing systems around here having a barbecue. So we welcome them to the stadium. 0-2. Rodriguez, it's a pitch out. Ben Johnson calling for it. And Carter bluffing the run. It'll be a ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Looking over the Major League scoreboard, the Detroit Tigers leading the Cleveland Indians 12-5 as they have just ended the 8th inning. Dimitri Young and Carlos Pena both homered in that game as the Tigers have scored a run in every single inning from the 3rd inning on. Tigers lead 12 runs on 17 hits over the Indians. Tigers pretty impressive this year. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Rodriguez throwing over to first. Also in the bottom of the 8th, it's all tied up at Yankee Stadium. The Red Sox and the Yankees, 2-2 contest. David Ortiz has hit his 7th home run in his last 9 games. He's a monster, a machine. Ortiz played in Salt Lake back in 2000 or 99. The runner going, here's the throw, and Carter slides in with his 2nd stolen base of the game. Ben Johnson with the throw. Denker strikes out, but Carter now in scoring position. So 2 gone, and Blake DeWitt. DeWitt from the left side. The right side of the infield, even the shortstop, in the shadows now. 3rd baseman Nate Sutton still in the sunlight. First pitch to DeWitt is a ball, 1-0. So we'll keep you posted with some of these games going on today. A lot of good action in the big leagues. Rodriguez looking to second. And the next pitch, it'll be a fastball low and outside, but DeWitt chases it, 1-1. Provo pitching has been pretty decent this season. Despite some games where a lot of runs were scored, a lot of them were unearned runs because of the defensive woes. The 1-1 pitch is fouled off the end of the bat, back to the screen, and it makes the count 1-2. In just a couple minutes, the Anaheim Angels will be taking on the Oakland A's as John Lackey, 5 wins, 8 losses, will be taking on Barry Zito, who's actually having a very interesting year. But the A's have one of the best home records in all of baseball. So that game will get started pretty soon. A ball, 2 strikes. DeWitt, foul ball, right field side. A lot of high school players who get drafted and then come to the rookie league and low A levels, they normally tend to struggle their first couple of seasons. But once they get the mechanics down, once they get used to playing on a regular basis, they turn out to be great athletes. And DeWitt, 28th overall pick, has a chance to be just that. The 1-2 pitch, though, was chopped right off the mound, off the plate. Fernando throws over to first base, and now the ball bounces off the helmet of DeWitt. So Brandon Carter will trot home the score. A good throw by Rodriguez, but DeWitt ran right in front of the pitch, deflects off of him. The runner will score, and that'll be an E1, even though it's an interesting E1. But either way, Carter comes home. It's now a 3-2 Angels lead. The Raptors with a runner on first, and Corey Dunlap gets set. Dunlap, a 500 hitter at the junior college level. Had a good night last night for Ogden, as he went a got on base a couple of times. Rodriguez with the pitch, and it'll be fouled down the first base side. Like I mentioned during Dunlap's first at-bat, if you missed it or not, a 500 hitter at the junior college level, the top junior college hitter in all of baseball. 3rd round pickup by the Dodgers. Pretty good build. A Dimitri Young type of build. And the pitch will be low, 1-1. It's a final out in Tampa Bay. The Devil Rays defeat the Blue Jays 6-2. Devil Rays playing some pretty good baseball this year as well. The pitch to Dunlap is low, 2-1. And also for those Montreal Expo fans, we know we have a couple of them here in Provo. Expos have defeated the Phillies 6-3. Jim Thome, though, 27th home run for the Phils. 2 outs on the board, the runner at first. Dunlap takes a strike outside to even things up at 2-2. Top of the third, the Angels lead 3-2. For the Raptors, putting a run on the board after Rodriguez apparently was throwing to first base, but it bounced off the helmet of Blake DeWitt. The 2-2 pitch sits down Corey Dunlap looking. Strikeout number 6 for Fernando Rodriguez. We head to the bottom of the third. Angels 3, the Raptors 2. You're listening to SportsJuice.com, home for Provo Angels baseball.
Marcus throw 1 out of 3 baseballs to the hole in the Barber Brothers board. He will win $50 in cash. All right, Mark, are you ready? All right, let's give Mark a big hand. Okay, fans, if you haven't already purchased your 2004 souvenir program for your chance to win the MVP Sports Lucky Ad contest, this is coming up next inning. Also, don't forget to visit the concession stand on the concourse. There you'll find fresh, hot, gourmet, soft pretzels made by WrestleMania. Head back and get yours right now. It's Weenie Wednesday. Tonight, buy 1 hot dog, get 1 free.
Bottom of the third, Ben Johnson, Cliff Remele, and Michael Hughes to take their shots against Phil Sobkow. And it's Sobkow, and pretty good strikeout game so far. 4 strikeouts for Sobkow during the during the first 2 innings, and 6 strikeouts for Fernando Rodriguez. So both pitchers are forcing these batters to chase some bad pitches, as it's a 3-2 Angels lead. Ben Johnson will be starting things off. A switch hitter out of the University of Washington. The Angels at least want to pick up a victory today and snap the Raptors' 5-game winning streak. Somebody has to snap it. Ben Johnson, a 23rd round pick. And don't forget, if you're thinking about getting your kids involved with Provo Angels baseball this year, have them join the Future Angels Club. $10 gets them into every single Saturday game this season. They get a Future Angels Club t-shirt, an official club membership card, souvenir program, and they get to get a mini camp with the team. Give Sarah Hansen a call at 377-BALL. First pitch is outside to Ben Johnson, 1 ball, no strikes. Johnson struck out with 2 men in scoring position in the first. Let's see if he can start a rally this frame. Grounder right to the shortstop. Brandon Carter throws over to first base with ease, and that is out number 1. Johnson retired. Cliff Remele getting set. Keep it with us as Zach Frazier will be bringing you play-by-play in the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings. Angels 3, Raptors 2. Cliff Remele, an infield single in the first inning, brought home the first run of the game. Remele, an 11th round pick, and he will pop the pitch foul. 0-1 over to University Parkway. A beautiful ballpark here at Larry H. Miller Field. It'll be sad, and the team will leave it, but they'll move into some brand new facilities located right off the University Parkway and the 15 freeway. Next pitch is a strike outside part of the plate, 0-2. So if you're thinking about doing some sponsorship or advertising with the Angels next season, give us a call, 735-5496. We can answer your questions and get you set up for the 2005 season. Remele chases the pitch low for out number 2.
Now batting
So ever since Phil Sopko had that first inning with 2 outs on the board, he gave up 3 runs. He's pretty much been calm since then, hasn't given up a hit. The last 7 guys he's faced, he's got 6 of them out, walked another one. Michael Hughes from the right side now with the bat. Sopko's first pitch to him, it'll be high, 1-0. Michael Hughes, a .364 hitter at the University of Illinois, 8 triples, 13 home runs, and 64 RBIs. He was one of the top players in that conference. The 1-0, cutting the outside part of the plate to even things at a ball and a strike. Again, we had a trivia question we had proposed earlier. It was named, obviously it was this date 9 years ago that Eddie Murray collected his 3,000th hit. Give me the other 2 players who are members of the 3,000 hit club and the 500 home run club. Eddie Murray's one of them. Who are the other 2? Drop me an email at jpeters@provoangels.com. Most baseball fans should get this. It's a pretty obvious choice. 2 balls and a strike. Outside is Pujols does a good job of lunging and retrieving it. That makes the count 3-1. So with 2 outs on the board, the Provo Angels holding on to a 1-run lead. The Raptors have clawed back, putting a run on the board in the 2nd and 3rd. And with 2 outs, Michael Hughes has a hitter's count. Sopko pitches outside. Hughes heads over to first base with a 2-out walk. Caleb Mayer now getting set. And the thing we like about Caleb Mayer is he has spent 2 separate seasons at Cedar Rapids at the low A level. So anytime you play at a level higher than what you're used to, then you get sent down like he has, you tend to hit the ball with a little more authority. And Mayer has done just so. An infield single in the first, bringing home a run. And the first pitch will be in front of the plate. 1 ball, no strikes. Caleb Mayer played the entire season last year in Cedar Rapids. 7 home runs, 46 RBIs, but he only hit .246. This year he started off at low A Cedar, but after only hitting .200, sent here to the Provo Angels to start this 2004 Pioneer League season. Inside, 2 balls and no strikes. Caleb Mayer, though, from Modesto, California, just outside of Modesto. A good athlete. A 9th-round pick 2 years ago. As the umpire is just quickly discussing out near the mound some issues. Caleb Mayer with runners on base. His average hasn't been all that high, but he's been very good in certain spots. It's a 3-2 Angels lead. Mayer from the right, and Phil Sopko, the pitcher. Set, here's the pitch. Strike, 2-1. Larry H. Miller Field, home of the BYU Cougars, and home of the Provo Angels since 2001, as both teams have shared the facility, but it is BYU's ballpark. Breaking pitches outside for a ball, 3-1. The Cougars, they've had some decent baseball programs, but nothing to be hurrah about. A number of years ago, they did have Corey Schneider playing here, and Rick Aguilera, and a couple other ball players. But the Cougars, coached by Vance Law. Mayer pops this one up into shallow center field, and it'll be playable for B.J. Richmond as he makes the play to end the inning. So the Angels strand a runner. We head to the top of the 4th. Angels 3 and the Raptors 2.
out there? Just, I'll be right back. Just make sure that you're always just clicking something, keep going. Make sure you always got it on.
And don't forget to visit the Ben & Jerry's ice cream cart out on the golf course. Also, remember that you can enjoy the breakfast at Ben & Jerry's anytime at our convenient location at Braden's Landing on University Parkway, just west of the ballpark.
We are back for the top of the fourth inning here in Provo, Utah. Zach Frazier taking over for Jacob Peters, as we do every night in the fourth, fifth, and sixth innings here on SportsJuice.com. Leading it off for the Ogden Raptors will be the right fielder, Dan Batts, followed by center fielder, B.J. Richmond, and the designated hitter, Cole Bruce. Just a quick recap. The box score reads 2 runs, 3 hits, and no errors for the Raptors, 3 runs, 4 hits, and 2 errors for the Provo Angels. The Angels finally taking advantage of runners in scoring position early on in the game, putting up a 3 spot in the first inning. And the Raptors have followed with 1 in the second and 1 in the third, and that's where we stand right now. 3-2 Provo here in the top of the fourth. Angels pitcher Francisco Rodriguez has done a very good job dominating on the mound today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strikeouts for F-Rod. Francisco has done a good job keeping the Ogden Raptors hitters off balance, save for a few errors. He'd be up 3-1 right now. His first delivery to Dan Batts is a curveball that catches the outside part of the plate for strike 1. Batts, who's hitting at .370 this year, 7 for 27 on the air, and he line drives it to the center fielder, Richard Giannotti, who has a hard time handling the ball as it drops in front of him, and Batts will reach safely with a single. So the Raptors get their leadoff runner on base. For the second time tonight, they led off the game. Brandon Carter led off the game with a single, but was stranded. So stepping up to the plate now is B.J. Richmond, and the delivery from Rodriguez is low and inside for ball 1. Richmond, who reached on a double in his first at-bat, moved to third on a throwing error by catcher Ben Johnson and scored on Cole Bruce's sacrifice fly in the top of the second. Takes the ball on the outside part of the plate. 2-0. Here's the delivery from Rodriguez. Ground ball past the diving first baseman Cliff Remele into right field. And Mike Hughes overruns the ball. And Dan Batts will scoot on to third base. So, B.J. Richmond will reach on a single. Batts, who moved to second on that single, will go to third on an error by right fielder Mike Hughes. Mike Hughes, who is typically the center fielder, has slid over today to make room for Richard Giannotti, who is joining us from the University of Miami, Florida, fresh off an appearance in the College World Series. And he overran the ground ball, but it scooted past first baseman Cliff Remele. And runners now stand at the corners, first and third with with 1 out. They're showing 1 out on the scoreboard, but there is no outs in the game. Ground ball up the middle. Sean Rodriguez makes a great diving play, steps on the bag to get B.J. Richmond, but not in time to get the designated hitter Cole Bruce, who is first pitch swinging. Cole Bruce will pick up an RBI as Dan Batts will score from third base. And we are tied up at 3 apiece. So the Angels' miscues in the field once again cost them runs. And right now the Raptors have a Cole Bruce at first base, 1 out, and left fielder Hector Arias steps up to the plate. Here's the pitch from Rodriguez. Curveball low and outside, but the throw to second to beat the running Cole Bruce is not in time. He would have had him if the throw was to the inside part of the bag, but instead it was to the left field side, and second baseman Josh LeBlanc was unable to apply the tag in time, and so Cole Bruce now stands on second base with a stolen base. Arias had taken the curveball on the outside part of the plate for a ball, and he swings at another curveball that drifts outside, evening the count at 1 apiece.
Arias, who is one of the 6 strikeout victims of Rodriguez tonight, struck out looking in the second inning, ending the Raptors inning at that particular moment. Here's the 1-1 from Rodriguez. Off-speed pitch that misses outside. 2-1. So the Raptors obviously see something tonight, having attempted to steal multiple times on Ben Johnson and been successful. And so look for them to keep running the rest of the night. Here's the 2-1 delivery from Rodriguez. It's fouled back and over our heads here in the press box. Out of play, evening the count at 2 apiece. So as it has been the whole season, the Angels have done a good job getting on top and yet give up leads and put themselves in holes because of their defensive miscues. The delivery from Rodriguez is another off-speed pitch that misses outside, and the count is now full. Arias has been struggling at the plate. He's hitting only .214 this season. But he's a big guy. Lots of power and decent speed in the outfield. The 3-2 delivery from Rodriguez is outside. So Arias takes first base, having walked on a full count. So the catcher, Kingshill Pujols, steps up to the plate. Pujols, namesake of NL MVP candidate Albert Pujols. They're no relation, but they have very similar. They have the same last name. Here's the delivery from Rodriguez, and it's fouled down the first base line. Ground ball that bounces into the Ogden Raptors dugout. The Angels defensively run Mike Hughes in right field, Richard Giannotti in center, and Mike Perdomo, who had a great game last night, had a home run in the bottom of the ninth, bringing the Angels to 5-4. Here's a delivery from Rodriguez. Curveball, broken back, grounded to second baseman Josh LeBlanc, who flips to the shortstop, Sean Rodriguez, and there's going to be no play at first. So Hector Arias is forced out at second. Scored that 4-6 at home. There's now 2 outs. And Kingshill Pujols stands on first base. On the plate, Cole Bruce moved over to third. And runners are once again at the corner with 2 outs. And Brandon Carter steps up to the plate. He's 2 for 2 tonight with 2 singles, a stolen base, and scored a run in the top of the third. Spark plug, fiery little guy. Hitting only .222 coming into the game, but his average is sure to rise as he's 2 for 2 tonight. Here's the pitch from Rodriguez. Fastball over the plate, but misses low. Carter wears number 7. Has a pretty traditional batting stance. Open just a little bit towards the first base side. Here's the delivery from Rodriguez. And he misses low. Running the count to 2-0. Carter's at shortstop tonight, taking over for Lucas May, who has struggled in this series defensively with a handful of throwing errors in the field. Here's the delivery. Rodriguez fires a fastball over the plate for strike 1. Travis Denker's in the on-deck circle. And he will hit if Brandon Carter can reach successfully. Here's the 2-1 delivery from Francisco Rodriguez. Ball that misses low and inside. And the count is now 3-1. At third base, Cole Bruce keeps chugging down the line like he's going to do something and puts on the brakes. And I think it's distracting the right-handed pitcher, Francisco Rodriguez, who faces towards third base when he's in the stretch position as he is right now. So 3-1, 2 out. Here's the delivery. Ground ball past the diving first baseman Cliff Armolay down the line in right field. The Raptors will take the lead 4-3 as Kingshill Pujols sneaks onto third base. And Brandon Carter is now 3 for 3 tonight. So he's having himself a night here in Provo, Utah. And the Angels have given up started the game with a 3-0 lead, and the Raptors have come back to score 4 unanswered. As Zeke Zimmerman, the pitching coach for the Angels, saunters out to the mound, trying to calm down his young right-hander. Good piece of hitting by Brandon Carter. Got a pitch on the inside part of the plate. Pulled it right down the line. Just out of the reach of first baseman Cliff Remley. Remley, who's played in left field the last couple of games, slides over to first where he played many a game for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. And Travis Denker, who has struck out twice looking, one of the strikeout victims of Frankie Rodriguez, will step up with 2 out and runners at the corners. Angels need a big out here to get out of this inning, and they need to get the bats going again, as they did early on in this game. Here's the delivery from Rodriguez. Breaking pitch that catches the outside part of the plate for strike 1. Denker, who has struggled getting the bat off his shoulders and has gone down looking twice. And Raptors manager Travis Barber is looking for a little something out of his second baseman here tonight. Here's the 0-1 delivery. Fastball that catches the outside part of the plate. Strike 2. So Rodriguez quickly gets ahead of the batter. And looks to pick up strikeout number 7 with this pitch. First and third, 2 outs. And here's the 0-2 delivery from Rodriguez. It's a pitch out. Called by catcher Ben Johnson. He looks around, nothing doing. Runners stay put. And the count is now 1-2. A couple times so far in this series, the Angels have called it correctly and caught runners running on a pitch out. So not a bad idea by the catcher Ben Johnson. Here's the 1-2. Rodriguez is set. Here's the delivery. Fastball swung on and fouled on the third base side. Ground ball that goes past the manager Travis Barber, who's standing in the coach's box. And the count remains at 1-2. Denker, who is really struggling this year at 174, well below the Mendoza line. And his 2 strikeouts tonight are certainly not going to help that average. Here's the 1-2, and it's fouled back off his foot into the Provo Angels dugout. And the count remains at 1-2. So we see now why the Raptors are atop the Southern Division in the Pioneer League, as they've done in every game. Do a good job of, 1, taking advantage of Provo Angels' miscues, and 2, a run here, a run there, scampering around, running, stealing, hit and run. They really pick up runs. And Rodriguez steps towards third, steps off the mound, and fakes towards first, trying to keep the runners honest. Nothing doing. Denker, a very compact stance, and he calls time. Plate umpire grants it to him. Steps out of the box, takes a look down the line. Gets the signs again from manager Travis Barber. And he's back in the box, set, ready to go. Here's the 1-2 delivery from Francisco Rodriguez. It's popped up into shallow right field. Mike Hughes is underneath it, gathers it in for out number 3. So the Raptors come back with 2 runs and now lead 4-3 after 3.5 innings here in Provo, Utah. I'll be back on about 30 seconds. It's called sportsjuice.com. After the 6th inning, I switch back. We have 2 play-by-play guys. He does the first 3. I do the middle 3. He does the last 3. So we're middle of 4. So what number? Tell me what number he wears. Back here live in Provo, Utah, Zach Frazier at the mic. on a beautiful, beautiful Wednesday evening here in the heart of the Wasatch Mountains. Let's run real quickly over some American League scores. Detroit beat Cleveland 12-5 at home tonight. The Yankees handled Boston 4-2. Tampa Bay takes care of Toronto 6-2. Baltimore leads Kansas City right now in Missouri 11-3. The Chicago White Sox are up on Minnesota in the top of the 8th, 9-5. Anaheim and Oakland are at 0-0 in the top of the second, and Texas and Seattle are at 0-0 in the top of the second. So, quick run through the American League scores. Just to let you know, we are hosting a group of 500 people tonight in our barbecue pit down the right field line. If you have a family or a company or a group picnic that you're planning, this is the perfect place to do so. We've got great seats right along the first base line, about 20 feet from the action. A great all-you-can-eat barbecue. It's the perfect way to spend a summer evening. So Phil Sopko is still on the mound for the Ogden Raptors, and they lead after 3.5 innings, 4-3, having picked up 2 runs last inning in their half of the fourth. And let's see how the Angels respond to this challenge. So Mike Perdomo steps up to the plate. He homered last night, solo home run in the bottom of the ninth, drew the Angels to 5-4 before they finally ended up losing the game. Here's the delivery from Sopko. Fastball that's right over the plate for strike one. Mike Perdomo struck out swinging in his first at bat, ending the big Angels inning in the bottom half of the first inning. Here's the delivery from Sopko, and a curveball gets away from Sopko, hits Perdomo squarely between the 2 and the 9 on his jersey, and he'll head to first base as it hits Batman. And HBP if you're scoring at home. And Josh LeBlanc will step up to the plate. LeBlanc, who has seen his average remain at about the 140 range. He's hitting 143 right now. But he's starting to show a little bit more patience at the plate. He grounds the ball to the shortstop, Carter, who throws onto the second baseman, Denker, forcing Perdomo. And there is one out here in the bottom of the fourth inning. So LeBlanc will reach on a fielder's choice. And there's one out here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Richard Giannotti, the University of Miami product, steps to the plate. He's 0 for 1, having walked and scored in the first inning and struck out swinging in the second. Sopko throws his hand up in the air, steps off the rubber, and LeBlanc scampers back into first base. Giannetti with an open batting stance, hands held about shoulder high. He drops the bunt, pulls back as the ball's in the dirt. And the count is now 1-0. Giannotti's tall, about 6'2", 6'3", 200 pounds. Has good speed. Has good bat control. And looks like he'll be a positive addition to the Angels' offensive lineup here. Here's the 1-0 from Sopko. He steps off the mound, throws back over to first base, where Josh LeBlanc dives back in. Brett Crane, our clubhouse manager, will have some work to do tonight. As white uniforms are getting dirty. The Angels will hit the road actually tonight on their way to Idaho Falls to take on the Chuckers tomorrow night. And a pitch out as LeBlanc was running, but the Ogden Raptors catcher, Kangshill Pujols, drops the ball, falls out of his mitt, and LeBlanc slides in safely to second base with a stolen base. So LeBlanc once again utilizing his speed and gets into scoring position. Let's see if Giannotti can take advantage. Here's the 2-0 delivery. Ball that's inside and low. Running the count to 3-0. Giannotti will wear the number 4 here in Provo. He wore 21 at the U of M. Here's the pitch. Breaking pitch that catches the outside corner. 3-1. Certainly comes from one of the most storied programs in all of college baseball. Some definitely expect to see the orange and green every year in Omaha. They did disappoint this year. Here's the 3-1. And Giannotti draws his second walk of the evening, and the Angels now have runners at first and second with one out. And Nate Sutton will step to the plate. Third baseman, he struck out swinging in the first inning and walked in the second, was stranded in that inning. Not advanced beyond first base. Nate Sutton, one of the more soft-spoken players on the Angels team, but definitely loud and obnoxious when he's at the plate. He's hitting .444 this year. Here's the delivery from Sobko, and he lines it over the second baseman's head. LeBlanc is being waved around by manager Tom Kaufman, and he'll slide in safely at home, and the Angels have tied the ball game. So, unlike the first two nights where the Angels have struggled to put runners or to score runners when they were in scoring position, they have done an excellent job tonight, driving in 4 runs. Nate Sutton will pick up an RBI on that single. Giannotti will move to second base, and we stand in the same position we were when Sutton steps to the plate. First and second, one out, and Sean Rodriguez steps to the plate. He had a double in the top of the first inning and scored a run, in the bottom of the first inning. Good heavens, I'm really struggling tonight, guys. In the bottom of the first inning. So here's the pitch from Sobko. Curveball that breaks far too outside and misses for ball 1. Rodriguez, whose energy has certainly been a welcome addition. If you're going to lose a guy as positive and as hardworking as Billy Boyer, you'd like to see him being replaced by guys like Sean Rodriguez, who is a third-round draft pick from Miami, Florida. Sobko misses inside for ball 2. So hitters count here. First and second, Sutton at first, Richard Giannotti at second, and Sean Rodriguez at the plate with a 2-0 count. Here's the delivery from Sobko. Fastball that misses outside. Good eye by Sean Rodriguez. Wanted that pitch, checked his swing, and was able to hold up. Rodriguez in his short stay here in Provo is hitting .444, so we'll keep that pop going, and we'll have another positive addition to the lineup. The 3-0 delivery catches the outside corner for strike 1. Rodriguez didn't like that call, shook his head a little bit, but steps back into the into the batter's box, ready to go. 3-1. Sobko is set. He steps and turns like he's going to throw to second base. Giannotti ducks back in and no throw. So, obviously the speed of Giannotti is starting to concern the pitcher, Phil Sobko. He's set. Here's the 3-1 delivery. And Rodriguez rips it into left field. Giannotti's being waved around. Here's the throw at the plate. It is let go. He'll slide in safely, and the Angels have responded, picking up yet another run, and they now lead 5-4. Nate Sutton will move to second. Sean Rodriguez will stand at first with an RBI single. That's the way it's done, folks. Base by base, hit by hit. Nothing big right here, just single after single after single, and it's being productive. It's scoring runs. Kings Hill Pujols will go out to talk to Phil Sobkow, and it looks like there will be a change on the mound. Sobkow going 3 1/3 innings, giving up 5 runs on 6 hits. And his evening is done. He doesn't look happy as he storms into the dugout. And the pitcher coming in from the bullpen will be number 43, the right-hander Brian Aiken, 6'3", 195-pounder from Louisville, Kentucky. He's picked up in the 14th round of this year's amateur draft. We will be back with more from Provo Angels. With more Provo Angels baseball here in Provo, Utah on www.sportsjuice.com. Zach Frazier back here at Larry H. Miller Field in Provo, Utah. Brian Aiken will take the mound for the Ogden Raptors. As we mentioned, he's a 14th round draft pick out of Louisville, Kentucky. Played for Davidson College. Has seen action in 3 games this year, 8 1/3 innings. Has given up 7 hits and 3 runs, and his ERA is at 3.24. So not too bad. Not too bad. Has given up 1 home run and has struck out 11. So Ben Johnson will step up to the plate. The catcher has struck out swinging and grounded out shortstop to first base in the 3rd inning. He straps his batting gloves on, tightens things up, looks down the third base line to get the sign from Tom Kochman, and we're ready to go. Raptors defense is playing pretty much straight away in the outfield. And Johnson rips a line drive over the right fielders, or into right field. Nate Sutton will scamper around from second base to score. Sean Rodriguez will move on to third. And Ben Johnson picks up an RBI single. And the hit parade continues. So Nate Sutton scores. Rodriguez now stands at third. Ben Johnson is at first. And Cliff Remele, playing at first base tonight, will step up with an opportunity to pick up even more runs. First pitch swinging by Ben Johnson. Got a fastball belt high over the plate. Pulled it right into right field. Nice piece of line drive hitting. Remele's first pitch swinging at a changeup. Swings and misses. Count is now 0-1. So, after reaching on a Josh LeBlanc, after reaching on a fielder's choice, then Giannotti walked. Then we have a single, and a single, and we've picked up 3 runs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Aiken steps off the mound and throws over to first, where Johnson dives back in safely. Brett will be sure to use the enzyme. I learned the other day that's how they get the uniforms so white. Ground ball back to the pitcher. Aiken will step and throw to second base. On to first for a 1-6-3 double play. So, after giving up a run, Aiken gets the job done. It's the Raptors out of the inning, but their Angels bounce back with 3 here in the bottom of the 4th and now lead 6-4.
Watch the kids on the dugout roof if you need some guidance. Are we ready? All right, here we go with the Carrabba's Chicken Dance.
We got a new pitcher. Number 15, Ricardo Requena. New pitcher. New pitcher for the Angels. Did you get him? No. Yeah. Back here in Provo, Utah, Zach Frazier at the mic on SportsJuice.com. We have a new pitcher for the Provo Angels. Looks like Francisco Rodriguez's night is done. Real quickly, though, let's count his strikeouts. He picked up 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the third, or 2 in the third, 3 in the third. So, had 6 strikeouts for the night in just 4 full innings. So a great job of pitching by Francisco Rodriguez. And now stepping to the mound will be number 15, Ricardo Requena. Requena has pitched in 2 games so far this year and only seen 4 innings of action. So he struggled a little bit, but let's see how he does here tonight against the very dangerous Ogden Raptors lineup. Batting for the Raptors is number 6, the third baseman, Blake DeWitt, and he takes a ball outside, 1-0. Here's the pitch from Requena. Fastball that's fouled back over the Angels' dugout and out of play, evening the count at 1 apiece. Here's the pitch. High fly ball lifted into center field. Giannetti steps in first, made a wrong read on the ball, but as he backtracks almost to the warning track, pulls it in for out number 1. It's hard to get used to this park because for the outfielders, the sun is in your face until probably the 5th or 6th inning. It's hard to read the ball coming off of that, and especially right now as we start to reach dusk, that's a tough play. A straightaway fly ball is a really difficult play to read. So Giannetti does a good job recovering, and we have 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning. Corey Dunlop, big Corey Dunlop, steps up, swings and misses at a strike, and the count is now 0-1. Dunlop has popped up to the third baseman and struck out looking in his 2 at-bats tonight. Here's the 0-1 from Requena. Misses low and inside. As we mentioned last night, at least for me, Dunlop reminds me of Cecil Fielder. He's a very similar build and plays first base. Takes a strike on the inside part of the plate. 1-2. Obviously has some power potential. And he takes a fastball that catches the inside part of the plate, looking for his 2nd strikeout in a row. And Dunlop shakes his head as he walks back to the dugout. Obviously didn't agree with the call, but a great pitch by number 15, Ricardo Requena. Requena, who is a native of Maracay, Venezuela. Holds the glove up high above his face as he looks in for the count, and he throws a breaking pitch that catches the outside part of the plate to Dan Batts, the hitter, for strike 1. Here's the pitch to Batts. Outside, evening the count at 1 apiece. Batts got the inning going last in the top of the 4th for the Ogden Raptors and scored a run. Here's the pitch. Batts reaches out at a curveball, fouls it back over the first base dugout of the Ogden Raptors and out of play. It's always a dangerous spot to park. There's parking for team officials and players back behind the first baseline. And frankly, I wouldn't park my car there. Here's the 1-2 from Requena. Misses up and away, evening it at 2 apiece. Batts, a very traditional stance. Squats down a little bit, very compact. Here's the pitch from Requena. Swinging a ground ball down third base line. Third baseman Nate Sun has a hard time handling it. Goes off the heel of his glove, and he will not have a play. So, tough ground ball, probably will be scored. Oh, looks like the official score actually gave him a hit on that. So, it was a tough play to make. If he would have made it, it would have been a sensational play. So, Batts reaches safely with an infield single, and center fielder B.J. Richmond steps up to the plate with 2 out. Requena comes, sets, he's in the stretch position, and here's the pitch. Swing and foul back directly behind home plate. Lucky for the folks sitting in those super box seats, there's a 40-foot net protecting their loved ones. If you guys haven't made it out to Larry H. Miller Field, I highly suggest doing so. One of the most beautiful parks in all of professional baseball, as B.J. Richmond fouls off another pitch down the third baseline, and the count is now quickly 0-2. Larry H. Miller, the owner of the Utah Jazz, a part-time professor at Brigham Young University and Utah native, made his money and his fame selling cars here in Utah. Here's the 0-2. Fouled back over my head. Back into the softball portion of this complex, and the count remains at 0-2. And a couple of years ago, about 5-6 years ago, BYU had plans to improve their baseball and softball facilities, and Mr. Miller and his wife Gail stepped up and donated the money to have this beautiful facility built, and Requena puts a fastball over the inside part of the plate, and B.J. Richmond goes down looking. So, 2 strikeouts in the inning for Requena. The Raptors strand a runner at first, and the score is still 6-4 after 4.5 innings.
All the way around the bases. Charlie, our lovable mascot, will start from second base and go all the way home. Whoever reaches home plate first will win a great prize from our friends at New Wave. All right, Chelsea, are you ready? Charlie, are you ready? All right, here we go, and go!
Mike Hughes will lead it off here in the bottom of the 5th inning, followed by Caleb Mayer and the left fielder Mike Perdomo. In the Angels' half of the 5th. Right-hander Brian Aiken is still on the mound for the Ogden Raptors. And just want to remind everybody, visit www.provoangels.com for all your information concerning this great team here in Utah County. You'll get game updates and recaps every night after a home game, and press releases after a road game, updating you on the action while the Angels are out of town. You can also vote for your favorite answer on our quick poll. Tonight's is how far was the Andrew Toussaint home run last night? 390 feet, 427, 440, or 405. Just to give you an idea, it cleared the scoreboard, which stands at roughly 50, 60, maybe even 70 feet above the field, over the cast iron fence that sits about 40 feet beyond the outfield line, or outfield wall, and it landed on the road that runs right in front of the Marriott Center basketball arena. So a shot last night, and go online and vote, see how long you think it was. Stepping to the plate now is right fielder Mike Hughes, who had a single in the first inning and walked in the second. So he's been on base. He's one for one for the night. The delivery from Aiken is low and outside. Counts now 1-0. Mike Hughes still in the lineup and working his way back. He's starting to get the action going with the wood. He takes a fastball in the outside corner for strike 1. He's got a lot of talent, and there's obviously something that Tom Kochman sees in him. He's been in the lineup over almost every night since joining the Provo Angels. Here's the 1-1 from Aiken, a curveball that is swung on and missed. By Hughes, the ball got away from catcher Kingsley Pujols, but to no avail. Count is now 1-2. Aiken has the glove up to his face, gets the sign, and here's the pitch. Fastball that bounces about 3 feet in front of the plate past the catcher Kingsley Pujols. I just like saying his name, Kingsley Pujols. It's a very cool name. Definitely unique, one you're not going to hear too often. The count's now 2-2, and here's the pitch. Mike Hughes swings and misses, chases a pitch that was a little bit out of the strike zone. He goes down for the first out here in the bottom of the 5th.
Now batting number 24.
So Aiken gets his first strikeout of the night and his 12th of the season. Caleb Mayer steps to the plate. He has an RBI tonight, a single and RBI in the first inning, and he flew out to the center fielder in the 3rd. Pitch drifts far outside. Pujols lunges to catch it, and the count is 1-0. Mayer hands held high. Here's the pitch. Checks his swing. And the count is now 2-0. It looked almost like he foul-tipped that off the handle of his bat, but apparently did not get a piece. And now stands at 2-0. Aiken gets his sign, is in his windup, and here's the pitch. Fastball that just misses outside. It counts now 3-0. Mayer, one of the most consistent hitters on this Angels team. Here's the pitch. Fastball that misses. And apparently when he checked the swing, it was a strike. So count is now 3-1. Here's the 3-1 delivery from Aiken. Popped up into right center field, going back to the warning track. Back, and right fielder Dan Voss misses the ball, does not make the play. Caleb Mayer's been hustling all the way around, slides into third base with a triple. So 3 feet of base running by Caleb Mayer, hustling right out of the box, hustling rounding first base, did not even look to see if the ball was caught, and just kept chugging around second and slides into third base with a triple. So Dan Voss misjudged the ball, did not get on his horse and get back to the warning track, didn't think that it was going to carry that far, and the ball goes over his head, bounces off the wall, and Mayer now stands at third with a 1-out triple. Perdomo, with runners in scoring position, has the opportunity to cash in here. Swings at an off-speed pitch. Count stands at 0-1. Angels have reversed their fortunes today and have done a good job of picking up runners when they've had the opportunity. Let's see if that trend continues. Here's the 0-1 from Aiken. Perdomo swings and misses at a pitch that looked like it was out of the strike zone. He's a little upset at himself, shakes his head, and straps his batting gloves back on, and he'll step back into the box. Perdomo, whose birthday was last night. Carmen, his girlfriend, and most of his family was out here to celebrate that. Here's the 0-2. He swings and misses at an off-speed pitch for strike 3. Perdomo goes down swinging for the second time. And Aiken now has his second strikeout of the night. So Josh LeBlanc, who reached last inning on a fielder's choice and got that big 3-run inning going, now steps into the box with 2 outs and an opportunity to drive in a run. Here's the pitch from Aiken. Ground ball up the middle, past the diving shortstop, Brandon Carter, and Caleb Mayer will cross home. Another run across for the Angels. They now lead 7-4, and LeBlanc, showing some of the reason why he was a 6th-round draft pick of the Anaheim Angels this year, picks up an RBI single. So LeBlanc, who has scored a run and now picks up the run, does a good job coming through in the clutch. Giannotti steps into the plate now, steps up into the batter's box right now. He has walked twice and struck out once, scored 2 runs. So his ability to get on base and his speed has certainly been a benefit tonight for your boys in blue. Here's the pitch from Aiken. He steps off, throws over to first, and LeBlanc dives back in safely. LeBlanc has great speed, has shown us many times in this homestand his ability to run the bases, get stolen bases, get into scoring position, and obviously the Raptors are prepared for that with a scouting report and are keeping him close to the bag. Here's the pitch from Aiken. Catches the inside corner. Giannotti a little frustrated by that call, but nonetheless it stands at 0-1. No balls, 1 strike to Richard Giannotti. Josh LeBlanc stands at first base with about a 5-6 foot lead off the bag. Aiken steps off, throws over to first baseman Corey Dunlop, and LeBlanc steps back in safely. Great crowd here tonight at Larry H. Miller Field, taking advantage of the beautiful weather, the barbecue, the fact that it's the last game of a 7-game homestand. The Angels would like to pick this win up and finish this homestand 3-4 as they head out on the road to face the Idaho Falls Chuckers for 3 and the Ogden Raptors for 3 before returning home next Tuesday night to face these very same Ogden Raptors. While we were talking, we missed the pitch that was on the that was outside, and the count is now even at 1 apiece. There's a delivery from Aiken. Giannotti swings through and grounds it foul into the Ogden Raptors dugout, and he is now down 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nate Sutton due up next. Giannotti can reach safely. Here's the 1-2 from Aiken. He steps off, throws back over to first. LeBlanc steps back in safely. Doesn't look like LeBlanc's ready to run. He has a good lead, not a hefty lead. But you never know. He's got quick feet, and he's done it before. Here's the pitch. Giannotti grounds it through the hole on the right side. LeBlanc will stop at second. First baseman Corey Dunlop was unable to make that play because he was holding the speedy Josh LeBlanc on. So even though LeBlanc didn't run, his speed was certainly a factor in that play, and second baseman Travis Denker was unable to make it, and it sports through for a single. So Giannotti is now 1 for 2, having reached base 3 times tonight and keeping this inning going. So Angels fans finally being treated to the offense that we had expected from this club. Very up and down so far this year, but they'll settle it out, I'm sure. The delivery from Aiken to third baseman Nate Sutton is low and in the dirt. Ball 1. You know, it's difficult for a lot of these guys. Half the team, this is their first professional experience. The other half, most of them have been playing in Mesa. Here's the pitch from Aiken. Fastball that catches the outside corner for strike 1. They arrive here in Provo 2 days before the start of their season. They're issued uniforms, lockers, host families, and all of a sudden they're on the road playing in Casper. And it's very difficult to gel in the first 2 weeks, but looks like they're starting to come together. Sutton swings and pops it back, foul behind home plate, and the catcher Kingshill Pujols gathers it in for the 3rd out. So Sutton unable to deliver, but the Angels pick up another run and now lead 7-4. We'll be back with more Angels baseball here from Provo, Utah on SportsJuice.com.
State we're in?
I'm going to say Utah.
18.
You are correct.
Is that our pitching coach's father? Our pitching coach's father. The red hat right down there. Yeah. Number 1. The first Zeke.
How you doing, dude?
I'm doing well, man.
Good. Good inning, something ready to go on.
It's never a bad night when you start off the top of the 6th inning with some Beatles. Money was heaven sent. Leading off the inning for the Ogden Raptors will be the designated hitter Cole Bruce, followed by left fielder Hector Arias and the catcher Kingshill Pujols. Great inning last inning for the Angels. With 2 outs, were able to pick up a run and now lead 7-4. They've out-hit the Raptors so far tonight in 5 innings, 10-7. And have received some clutch pitching from both Francisco Rodriguez and Ricardo Requena. So Cole Bruce will step to the plate. He had a sacrifice fly in the 2nd inning and a single and a stolen base. In the 4th, he also scored in that inning. Here's the pitch from Requena. High and a little bit inside, missing for ball 1. Cole Bruce, who has his hair down past the backside of his helmet, down to just above his shoulders. And Requena's delivery misses low. And the count's now 2-0. Has a little bit of an exaggerated wide open stance, similar to Luis Gonzalez, and he lifts a line drive well over the head of the left fielder, Mike Perdomo. Bounces off the Provo Marriott sign. Perdomo will pick it up, throw it into Sean Rodriguez, but Cole Bruce will continue his hot hitting and reach with a double to open things up here in the 6th inning.
Now batting number 41, left field, Hector Arias.
So Hector Arias will step to the plate with runners in scoring position. Requena has followed the pattern so far this year, has done a great job in his 1st inning, and then has struggled in the subsequent innings. This is a good opportunity for the young pitcher from Venezuela to work on that and pitch out of this tough jam that he's gotten himself into here early in the sixth. Requena sets. And here's the delivery to Arias. Big breaking ball that catches the inside part of the plate. Arias was fooled, checks his swing, and now is down 0-1. Arias, another batter with a very wide open stance with his foot almost down the line on the third base side. Here's the 0-1. Requena, another breaking ball that misses high, didn't break. And the count stands even at 1 apiece. Richard Giannotti, the center fielder, is shaded over towards the right field side, almost in line with the flagpole. And Arias swings and misses at a big off-speed pitch from Ricardo Requena. And he quickly trails in this count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Everybody else is pretty much straight away. Sean Rodriguez dancing behind Cole Bruce at second base. Steps back. Ground ball of third baseman Nate Sutton. Looks the runner back at second base, and here's the throw to third. Cole Bruce is in standing. So Hector Arias moves the runner over. Ground ball to Nate Sutton, who threw quickly to Clifton Remole. And Cole Bruce moves over to third on the play. Sean Rodriguez did a good job covering, and we had a bang-bang play, but Cole Bruce, a little gutsy there, doesn't even slide, goes in standing, almost got knocked off the bag, but he now stands safely at third base with 1 out. Kingsville Pujols steps up to the plate, and he takes a fastball on the outside part of the plate for strike number 1. Pujols reached in the fourth with a single, was stranded, and has struck out swinging in the third inning. Here's the 0-1 from Requena, ground ball to Nate Sutton. Cole is going to score. Long throw by Sutton. Out number 2 is recorded at first base. So Arias and Kingsville Pujols both go down 5-3, but Cole Bruce, that double will come through, and he will score a run. Mark it down with Pujols picking up an RBI on that play. And Brandon Carter will now step into the box. He is 3 for 3 with 3 singles, a stolen base, and a run scored. So he's having himself an evening here. Number 7 squares to bunt on the first pitch. Pulls it back, and it's a strike over the heart of the plate. 0-1. Here's the delivery from Requena. This is low and inside. Evens the count at 1 apiece. So good job by Requena giving up the inning-opening double, but getting 2 ground balls. The run scores, but has prevented further damage, and now there's 2 out. Nobody on for the hot-hitting Brandon Carter. And as he fouled the pitch off the left field side out of the park and onto University Parkway. So pretty good job here by Requena to battle back. The pitch to Brandon Carter is high and inside, and it now stands at 2 apiece. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Here in the top of the 6th, the Raptors have picked up 1, but still trail 7-5. And here's the 2-2 delivery from Requena. Ground ball to the shortstop, Sean Rodriguez. Scoops it up one-handed. Throws to first, but Cliff Remole is unable to scoop out the low throw. So it looks like it's going to be an E6. And Brandon Carter, the speedy shortstop from Ogden, is on base for the 4th time tonight. Should have been out number 3. Ricardo Requena cannot worry about that right now. He needs to focus on getting Travis Denker, who has struck out looking twice. Kochman is going to the mound. It looks like he's going to make a call to the bullpen. Trying to see who's coming from the bullpen. It looks like it's going to be number 45, Wayne Hedden. Requena gets a nice round of applause. He did do a great job pitching tonight. Picked up 2 strikeouts and giving up 1 earned run. So Wayne Hedden steps up. Hedden, who was here in Provo last year, will be expected to shut down the Raptors, get the Angels out of this inning, and get Angels bats ready to go here. He did play 2 Raptors earlier on this year, struggled at that level, and is down here to work on a couple of things. He's a good pitcher, has a lot of talent. Angels are excited about his abilities, but obviously has some things to work on down at this level. We will be back with more action from Larry H. Miller Stadium. I'm Zach Frazier. I'm going to take a quick pause here, and we'll be back with more action at sportsnews.com. What did Denker do his last at bat? What? So Denker's last at bat. That's right. Back here in Provo, Utah, the sun has set, the moon is over the mountains to our southeast, and let's quickly look at Wayne Hedden's stats in Cedar Rapids. He was 0-1 with one save, a 6.60 ERA, faced 75 batters, only had 7 strikeouts, so had a difficult time getting people out, and that's one of the reasons he's down here working in the Pioneer League. So Travis Denker steps up. He's 0 for 3 for the night. 174 average is short of drop. And is set in the stretch, and here's the pitch. Fastball that misses outside for ball 1. At this point in time, you don't really want to worry about Brandon Carter. He's fast, he's quick, he's probably going to end up on second base, but that's all right. Let's worry about the batter. Get this out here. Here's a delivery from Hedden, and it's a fastball that's ripped down the line, but drifting foul and into the Angels bullpen, evening the count at 1 apiece. Denker almost made Hedden pay for that miss. But I don't think that Hedden intended to put that ball belt high over the inside half of the plate to a stocky power hitter like Travis Denker. Here's the 1-1. Fastball that just misses low. And the count now stands at 2-1. Hedden, a right-hander, about 6'2", 205 pounds. He's got a great arm. Needs to work on some mechanics and maturity a little bit. Big pitch, catches the outside part of the plate. Denker disagrees and is arguing with the home plate umpire. Nonetheless, the count now stands at 2-2. Great off-speed pitch by Wayne Hedden III. So 2-2, 2 out. Brandon Carter stands at first base. And here's the pitch. In the dirt, Ben Johnson is throwing to second base. Brandon Carter is caught stealing. Great throw by the catcher, Ben Johnson. To second baseman Josh LeBlanc, and the Angels are out of the inning, so the Raptors pick up a run, but still trail 7-5 after 5.5 innings. Hot up here tonight, too. So too short to reach the down. He can't even reach the down. Hey Rob, how you doing? Good. About to go back on the air here. So. Yeah, I'll just call me after the day. That works. Okay. Back here, Provo, Utah, number 8. The shortstop, Sean Rodriguez, will step up to the plate. Don't like being in sync with the public address announcer, but what are you going to do? Rodriguez is 2 for 3 with a double in the first inning, a single in the fourth, and he's scored a run. He grounds the ball down the third base side, doesn't hustle out of the box, and third baseman Brandon DeWitt scoops it up and throws Sean Rodriguez out. Kind of an odd play there. He looked like it was going to go foul, and he didn't hustle coming out of the box, and so he probably could have beat that out. He's got good speed. But instead, the Angels have their first out. So catcher Ben Johnson steps up to the plate. He's also contributed tonight. He's contributed with a single in the fourth inning, driving in a run. So he's 1 for 3 with an RBI, and he takes a fastball that's low and outside, 1-0. Did a good job defensively behind the plate, having thrown out the shortstop Brandon Carter to end Raptors' top of the sixth inning. He swings and misses at a curveball, evening the count at 1 apiece. Here's the pitch from Aiken, and he stops halfway through his delivery. Does not deliver the pitch. Doesn't matter, there's no one on base, but it would have been a balk had there been a runner on. Here's the pitch from Aiken. Fastball that's low and outside. And Johnson is ahead in the count, 2-1. Johnson, a product of the University of Washington, has a good catcher's build. And he takes one off the outside of his right calf. It's a good thing he's a catcher. He's tough. He can take it. Aiken hits Ben Johnson, putting him on first base. That is the second hit by pitch tonight. Perdomo reached on a hit by pitch as well in the fourth inning. So Cliff Remele steps up. He had an infield hit in the first inning that brought in an RBI. He struck out in the third and grounded out 6-3 in the fourth. So he's 1 for 3 on the night with an RBI. He sets. Very relaxed at the plate. The pitch from Aiken is outside. And the count is 1-0. Remele, who is showing us his versatility, he's played a couple games in left field, now playing at first. He's DH'd 1 or 2 times. Obviously someone Tom wants to keep in the lineup. He takes a fastball right over the heart of the plate, evening the count at 1 apiece. So the Angels have done a good job tonight of getting runners on base, moving them into scoring position, and taking advantage of that. Let's see if they can do the same tonight. He grounds the ball to the shortstop, Denker, who flips to Carter, throws onto first, but Remele beats it out. So Ben Johnson is put out 4-6 on the fielder's choice. Remele reaches first base on the fielder's choice, and there is now 2 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Mike Hughes now comes up to the plate. He's had himself a night as well. Reached on a single, had an RBI in the first inning, walked in the third, and struck out swinging in the fifth. But has gotten himself off the schneid, finally driving in some runs. So, first pitch from Aiken is outside for ball 1. I'd like to work gotten himself off the schneid into my repertoire a little bit more. Here's the pitch from Aiken, and Hughes drives it into right field. It's curving towards the line, and it's going to be fair. Oh no! The umpire's calling it foul. You could see the dirt from the line. The powder, the chalk from the line bounce up. It looked like it hit the line, but the home plate umpire is right on top of it. He says foul ball. Fans here in Provo don't like that call, but what are you going to do? Certainly need to look at that ball, look for the powder, the chalk that's on it. Mike Hughes had motored all the way around and was standing at third base. Cliff Remele had scored. But after all that, it just turns out to be a long strike. So Mike Hughes, literally centimeters from an extra base hit and an RBI, will step back into the box with a 1-1 count and 2 out. Remele has a good 6-7 foot lead off the first base, being held by Corey Dunlap, the first baseman. Aiken, long strike, just remember that. Here's the pitch to Mike Hughes. In the dirt, gets away from the catcher, Kingshill Pujols, but he picks it up in time to keep Remele honest at first base, and Remele standing safely back on the bag. So for a guy like Mike Hughes who's been struggling at the plate, that could have been something that got him out of the gate, busted things open. He's got to be patient and realize, hey, there's nothing you can do about that. Let's go back and attack. Here's the pitch from Aiken. And he fouls back an off-speed pitch back behind home plate into the netting, and the count is now even at 2 apiece. This is where Hughes has struggled. He's done a good job of getting ahead of pitchers, but when the count is even or when he is behind in the count, he has multiple strikeouts this year. So the 2-2 count, 2 out here in the bottom of the 6th, and it's in the dirt, gets away from the catcher Pujols again, but not far enough away to allow Remele to scoot on over to second. So Remele will be in motion. He'll be running here with a 3-2 count to Mike Hughes. 2 out, bottom of the 6th inning. Our very good crowd tonight getting into it. Encouraging Mike Hughes to give us a couple more runs. Here's the pitch. Ball 4 misses outside and low, so Hughes, great job of working the count in spite of the fact that the umpire robbed him of a base hit. And now the Angels have runners at first and second, 2 out. And big man on campus, Caleb Mayer, will step up to the bat. Caleb Mayer, who singled and picked up an RBI in the first inning and tripled and scored in the 5th. Now steps up with runners on first and second and an opportunity to pick up yet another RBI. Aiken sets. Here's the pitch. Mayer lifts it down the right field line, drifting foul and into the Ogden Raptors bullpen. A couple of times tonight we've seen Angels hitters take an outside pitch into right field for a base hit, so they're doing a good job of going with the pitch, not trying to pull a ball that's not in a position to be pulled. Here's the 0-1. Aiken misses low, and the count is now even at 1 apiece. Cliff Remele stands at second base. He reached on a fielder's choice, and Mike Hughes is at first, having walked. Brian Aiken sets, and here's the pitch to Mayer. Curveball that never broke, stayed up high, and it is now 2-1. Mayer, who plays first base and DHs, is our designated hitter tonight. Steps up. Here's the 2-1. It's ground ball to the second baseman, Travis Denker, who handles it himself, steps on the bag, forces Mike Hughes out, and the Angels are out of this inning. They failed to pick up a run, and so they still lead 7-5 after 6 complete. I'll be throwing it back to Jacob Peters here in the booth. Thanks for listening, guys, and stay tuned to sportsjuice.com for more Angels baseball.
Back at here at Larry H. Miller Field, the Ogden Raptors, Provo Angels, Ogden on top, 7 runs, 10 hits, while the Raptors have 5 runs on 9 hits. It's been a pretty interesting game, back and forth, but the Angels right now holding on to a 2-run lead as Travis Denker at the bat. He'll take the first pitch for a ball, 1-0. 7-5 Angels. They scored 3 runs in the first, then 3 runs in the 4th inning, and they put a run on the board in the 5th as they are on top by a couple of runs. And the Angels right now, as the pitch is outside, 2-0 to Denker. The Angels trying to snap the Ogden Raptors' 5-game win streak. It's game 3 of the series. Denker takes another one outside, 3-0. Travis is 0 for 3 tonight, was at bat before Brandon Carter got thrown out in the 6th. And Wade Hedden right now working his 2nd inning for the Angels. The 3-0 offering, it'll be a strike about waist high on the outside part of the plate, 3-1. If you're thinking of bringing a group out to the ballpark this season, give us a call at 377-BALL. That's 377-BALL. Ask for James Davis. We got some great group rates, $5 for your group of 25 or more. That's $5 per head, as we'd love to get you involved. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Hedden forces Denker to swing and miss, and after being behind in the count 3-0, he comes back with 3 straight strikes, and that's out number 1 here in the top of the 7th. The Angels, 7 runs, 10 hits. They've committed 3 errors, but they're holding on to a 2-run lead as the Raptors have 5 runs. They've spread their runs out through 4 different innings. Blake DeWitt, the phenom. First pitch, it'll be a ball, 1-0. Or excuse me, a strike, 1-0. DeWitt struck out in the first, reached on an error in the 3rd, and then hit a fly out in the 5th. He'll pop this one up, and it'll drift foul into the stands, bounce on the seats, knock a kid's glove off in his hand. No balls, 2 strikes. Tonight, the Angels get ready. They get on the road, and they head out to Idaho Falls to play 3 games. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Line grounded right to Remele at first. He'll flip to Hedden, who covers first base for out number 2. Cliff Remele has had a difficult time over at first base. He hasn't committed anything, but he's had so many sharply hit balls going his way that he's really had to adjust and try to play the balls on hops, and right there, able to make a play for out number 2. Corey Dunlap, the first baseman, has struck out twice looking today. 7-5 Angels on top. Top of the 7th inning. Wayne Hedden set. And it'll be an inside strike. 0-1. Wayne Hedden, who started off the year at Cedar Rapids, pitched in 12 games, but had a 6.60 ERA. Hedden had faced 75 batters at the low A level and had only struck out 7 and then walked 14. So they were basically handling their business against Hedden at that level. And the next pitch is a ball, 2-1 to Corey Dunlap, the 3rd rounder. Top of the 7th inning. Hedden in his 2nd inning right now. Gets set, here it comes, and it'll be popped up into left field. Should be playable for Mike Perdomo, and it will be as it ends the inning. 1-2-3 go the Ogden Raptors. It's the first 1-2-3 inning of the game. We head to the bottom of the 7th, and the Angels coming up.
That old-time baseball classic. Take me out to the ball game. Brought to you by New Skin.
Back out here at Larry H. Miller Field in Provo, Utah. Bottom of the 7th is going to be Michael Perdomo, Joshua LeBlanc, and Richard Giannotti. Hey, let's go ahead and get to that trivia question we had proposed earlier. It was this date that Hank Aaron collected his 3,000th hit, and I asked, name the other 2 players with 3,000 hits and 500 home runs. We have 4 emails. We'll go ahead and start it off with Deborah Arnold. You are correct. Hank Aaron and Willie Mays, the other 2. Michael Perdomo will line drive single down the first base line. Now he's rounding first. He'll take second with a stand-up double. So Perdomo just hitting it right on the ground past the first baseman. It'll be a double to start things off here in the 7th. But Debbie Arnold, you are correct. Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, and Eddie Murray, the only 3 players to be in that 3,000 hit, 500 home run club. Another email right here from Jose and Lisa, listening to the ball games, and they guessed Hank Aaron, Willie Mays as well. So, guys are doing pretty good. Good baseball, folks. LeBlanc from the left side, as he has a runner at second base. LeBlanc, surprisingly enough, having a very good game. Good bunt down the third base line, but it'll roll foul. Had the third baseman made a play on it, LeBlanc would have been safe. But he let the ball roll, and that'll be strike number 1 for LeBlanc. Bottom of the 7th, a 7-5 Angels lead. Perdomo in scoring position, and the Angels trying to snap the Ogden Raptors' 5-game winning streak. We've had some other emails sent, but my computer, as high-tech as it is, says caution, possible virus. So I'm not going to open up those emails. A bunt again by LeBlanc. Getting the runner to third. Slides in safely. LeBlanc safe at first base. That'll be a bunt single. So the pitcher on the mound, Brian Akins, going at third base, but Perdomo safe as it was a sacrifice bunt, but LeBlanc will end up getting a bunt hit. So good job. Runners in the corners, no outs. And it'll be the leadoff man, Richard Giannotti, getting set. Kochman talking to Giannotti for just a moment. Again, this is Richard's first game as a member of the Provo Angels here in professional baseball. Giannotti has scored a couple of runs, has also singled. As he gets set to hopefully put something else on the board for the Angels. They lead by 2. Brian Akins, he'll go to first base with the first pitch. Akins entered the game with 3 games, 8 in the third innings pitched. He had allowed 3 runs and 11 strikeouts. He's pitched good here in the 6th and now 7th innings, but the Angels getting something started as it is fouled to University Parkway. Beyond the third baseline, 0-1. Richard Giannotti playing for the University of Miami, the Hurricanes. 50 wins, 13 losses in this year's collegiate season. The U of M, one of the top collegiate programs in all the country. No balls and a strike to Giannotti. Runners in the corners, and again, Akins will throw to first base to keep Joshua LeBlanc close. We got 4 more this date in baseball history, so we'll try to get them all for you throughout this game, as there's some very neat ones. Giannotti showing bunts, but it'll go foul down the first base side. He's now behind in the count, 0-2. Go ahead and get you one right now. This date in baseball history, 1993, 11 years ago, 70-year-old Minnie Minoso, and if you've heard of Minnie Minoso, he played in 5 different decades. Started off in the 40s, played in the 50s, the 60s, played 1 game in the 70s and 1 game in the 80s. Basically a part of that Bill Veeck promotional side of things. But Minnie Minoso, as a 70-year-old, appears as a DH for the St. Paul Saints in a game against Thunder Bay in the Independent Northern League. Minoso ends up grounding back to the pitcher in his only at-bat, but man, he has played in just about every single decade since the 40s. 1 ball, Nate Sutton digs in as Giannotti tried bunting out, but he fouled out for out number 1. Nate Sutton from the left. Here comes the first pitch. And it'll be a ball outside, 1-0. A 7-5 Provo Angels lead. 7 runs, 12 hits for the Angels. 5 runs, 9 hits for Ogden. The Angels led early in this game, but the Raptors came back and eventually would take the lead 4-3. Nate with the line drive, base hit into right field. So once again, Nate Sutton, a very talented hitter, gets his second RBI single of the game, and the Angels now lead 8-5. Good piece of hitting by the lefty as he pulled it. Perdomo coming home to score. LeBlanc making it to third. And now Sean Rodriguez gets set. Well, the Angels trailed this game 4-3 at one point, but the Angels put 3 runs on the board in the fourth. The Raptors came back with 2 runs in the fourth of their own. So the Angels have taken the lead as they are on top 8-5 in this contest. Sean Rodriguez, chopper over the third baseman's head into left field. So once again, the top of this order doing a great job and hitting in these clutch spots. And Rodriguez brings home a run with a single over the third baseman's head. It is now 9-5 Provo Angels. And you got to give the Angels a lot of credit, because if you look at what's happened throughout this homestand, the Angels, they had stranded 10 runners in scoring position during the first 2 games here against Ogden. They had stranded 20 men in scoring position during the homestand, but today they're making up for all of that. They're getting the base hits in the clutch situations as they now lead 9-5. Looks like the Ogden Raptors are making a pitching change, so we're going to go ahead and go to a break. Provo on top, 9-5. We'll be back. You're listening to Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com. The Ogden Raptors have made a pitching change. It's the left-hander, Carlos Alvarez. So Alvarez comes in to face the switch hitter, Ben Johnson, who just moves around to the other side of the plate. Johnson now hitting from the right side. And say what, the Angels having a very good game today. Even though they've committed 3 errors, they've come through. They've picked up the big hits when basically they've needed to, as they lead 9-5 in this contest. Johnson taking the first pitch, swinging and missing, and it's a strike. 0-1. Carlos Alvarez on the season, 3 games, only an inning and 2/3. He's faced 14 batters, giving up 6 runs on 6 hits. So Alvarez has struggled to start off his season. With the Angels getting big hits with runners in scoring position tonight. Ground ball, softly tapped to the first baseman. charging down the line is Johnson, but he's thrown out. Good play by Corey Dunlap, flipping to his pitcher, Alvarez, who was covering. Barely. It was a close play, but either way, Johnson moves both runners into scoring position. And with 2 outs on the board, Cliff Remele digs in. But again, yesterday, the Angels were 1 for 12 with runners on base. Tonight, they've been filthy. They've been doing a great job getting these guys off. 14 hits, 9 runs for the Angels. Runners at third and second. Remele chases a pitch outside, 0-1. They've had 12 hits tonight. 12 of their hits have come with runners on base. Not too bad of a number. Ball skips away from the pitcher. Kennesaw Pujols, and coming home to score is Nate Sutton. So the pass ball brings home Nate. Heading to third base is Sean Rodriguez. And it is now 10-5 Provo. So they are getting that much closer to snapping the Ogden Raptors' 5-game win streak. At third base is Sean Rodriguez. 1 ball, 1 strike to Cliff Remele here in the bottom of the 7th. 10-5 Provo. Out on the mound is Kennesaw Pujols talking with his pitcher, Carlos Alvarez. So Alvarez now on. 2 outs on the board. Runner at third is Sean Rodriguez. The shortstop and the second baseman are playing deep, right on the outfield grass nearly. As the pitch to Remele will be a ball, 2-1. How about 11 hits tonight for the Angels with runners on base. And that will most likely win games all the time. Next pitch over the plate, 2-2. We'll get you up to date in the top of the 8th inning with all the games going on in the big leagues, and a lot of them are finals. We'll also get you up to date with the Angels and the Oakland A's, as John Lackey and Barry Zito going head-to-head in Game 2 of that 3-game set. Remele fouls one off to keep things even at 2-2. Also have some more this date baseball histories. And if you want to buy some tickets to Angel games, 422-8225. $8 Superbox tickets, $6 for reserved and festival tickets, and $4 for kids. Swung on and missed. Remele strikes out. That'll end the inning, but the Provo Angels putting 3 more runs on the board. We head to the top of the 8th. Angels 10 and the Ogden Raptors 5.
Joseph and Callie, Dana, happy birthday. Mark Wood, Mike Rawson, Taylor and Riley Stopper, happy birthday. Michelle, Morgan, Haley, and Susan Ellis, happy birthday. Ernest and Jeff Headley, happy birthday. Jason Anderson, happy birthday. Steve Taylor and Tanya from England, thank you for being here. And a very special thank you to DHI Computing. It's their 50th anniversary. Thank you very much for being here. All right, fans, the next time you hop in the shower, wash your car, or water your lawn, remember our friends at the Department of Public Works Water Resources Division, who encourage us all to conserve water.
B.J. Richmond and Cole Bruce to take their shots against Wayne Hedden, who's now working his third inning. He's got 2 complete innings, but he's going to try to make it 3 here. As the Angels lead 10-5, the Angels scored 3 runs in the first, 3 runs in the fourth, 3 runs in the seventh, and put another run on the board in the fifth for good measure. First pitch to bats is a strike, 0-1. The Angels head up to Idaho Falls tonight as they get ready to play a 3-game set in Idaho Falls against the Chuckers, and then 3 games in Ogden against the Raptors. You can hear all those games on sportsjuice.com. The 0-1 pitch, it'll be outside, 1-1 to Danny Batts. Don't forget to log on to ProvoAngels.com and find out just exactly what your Angels are up to in the community, at the ballpark, and of course, find out some of their hobbies and interests. 2-1 to Batts. We'll look over the big league scoreboard in just a second after this 2-1 pitch to Danny Batts. Outside, 3-1. It's a final. The New York Yankees defeat the Boston Red Sox 4-2, despite David Ortiz hitting his 21st home run of the season. Mariano Rivera with his 29th save. Also, the Chicago White Sox Minnesota Twins liner into center field by Batts, and that'll drop in front of the center fielder, Richard Giannotti, for the first hit to open up this 8th inning, a line drive single, as B.J. Richmond gets set. But back to the scoreboard, though, the White Sox defeat the Twins 9-6. White Sox hitting 4 home runs in the game. The Twins hitting 4 as well. 8 combined home runs in that game. So pretty interesting. The White Sox battling for that Central crown. First pitch to Richmond is high. 1 ball, no strikes. And your Anaheim Angels, bottom of the 6th inning in Oakland. Anaheim 2, the Oakland A's 2. As Adam Kennedy has hit a 2-run home run in that contest. We'll get to the other scores, the National League scoreboard, in just a moment. B.J. Richmond, a double and a single today. He takes the pitch outside, 2-0. The Angels, 10 runs, 14 hits, 3 errors. Ogden Raptors, 5 runs, 10 hits, and no errors. So both of these teams have been hitting the ball. Richmond swings through for strike 1. It's a 2-1 count. As soon as this game is over, the Angels are going to go back to the clubhouse. They're going to take off their uniforms, get them washed. And that's one reason why the bus won't be leaving until about midnight tonight. And then on the bus, we head to Idaho Falls, which I believe is a 4-hour trip. And get in the hotel, sleep, and they get set for the first game against the Chuckers tomorrow at 7:15. Ground ball right to the first baseman, Remele. He'll go to second for 1. And they will not try to go back to first. A good running hit by B.J. Richmond. It'll be a fielder's choice. So the runner, Danny Batts, is out. 1 gone, and now Cole Bruce gets set. Cole Bruce has had effective at-bats each time he's been up. The sacrifice fly in the second. He hit into a fielder's choice in the 4th inning, but he ended up stealing second base and scoring a run. And Bruce had a line drive double to open up the 6th and would eventually score on the air. Bruce, a right-hander, he takes a strike, 0-1. Pittsburgh Pirates defeat the St. Louis Cardinals 6-5 as the Pirates with a walk-off RBI hit. Reggie Sanders hits his 13th home run for the Cardinals, but it's to no avail. Swung through, 0-2. Astros defeat the Cubs 3-2 as Roger Clemens was on the mound for Houston, but he's not involved with the decision. And the Atlanta Braves defeat the Marlins 9-6. 9 runs on 17 hits. Cole Bruce strikes out for out number 2. And with the runner at first base, it's going to be Hector Arias getting set. Angels 10, Ogden Raptors 5. Philadelphia Phillies lose to the Expos at Citizens Bank Ballpark. Tomei, though, with his 27th home run of the season. Cincinnati Reds shut down the Mets as Kevin Lytle with the win. First pitch is a ball to Hector, 1-0. So those are the finals in the National League, and there's still some games underway, a lot of West Coast games. 1-0. Here's the pitch by Hedden, and it's fouled off the mask of Ben Johnson to even things up at 1-1. Angels like to thank all their wonderful sponsors who make Angels baseball possible. Without great sponsors, it would just be another team in another ballpark. But we've had a lot of great people with sponsorships and group nights, and they just make it alive here at the stadium. So we thank all of you. Foul ball down the right field side for a strike, 1-2. And the Angels getting set to move into their new ballpark in 2005. The completion of the stadium should be done sometime in October. Low for a ball, 2-2 counts. And they'll begin play next season at Parkway Crossings Stadium. Twos across the board. Here's the pitch by Hedden. It's high and outside, and that'll fill things up to Hector Arias, who is 0 for 2 today, a .214 hitter, free agent pickup. Walked in the 4th inning, but also struck out and grounded out to 3rd. Full count runner going, obviously. Here's the pitch. Popped up, drifting down the first base side, and it'll just be foul as the first baseman, Cliff Reveille, trying to give it chase, nearly falls over the fence. And we'll do it again at 3-2. Salt Lake Stingers getting set. Tonight they're playing the Tacoma Rainiers. They played a good series against Tucson. Chris Buchek beating the Sidewinders last night. All the Angel teams are doing a good job. Fouled back again, 3-2. Arkansas and Rancho Cucamonga, also Cedar Rapids. Angels have a very good farm system, as they are stacked for the future. Again, Garrett Anderson today celebrating his 32nd birthday. The 3-2 pitch rings up Hector Arias on a breaking ball outside. That'll end the inning. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Provo, 10 runs, 14 hits. And the Ogden Raptors, 5 runs, 10 hits. You're listening to Angels Baseball here on SportsJuice.com.
They will try to team up to hit a home run. Here's how it all works. Jay will hit the baseball off the tee from home plate. And your partner, Ken, will have to finish it off at a left field. If they are successful, they'll win a pair of movie tickets from the Daily Herald. Okay, Jay, give it a good rip.
Bottom of the 8th inning, Michael Hughes, Caleb Mayer, and Michael Perdomo, the batters. Angels on top, 10-5. This is the final game of a 3-game set with the Ogden Raptors. Team is on the road to take on the Idaho Fall Chuckers for 3. First pitch to Hughes. It'll be outside for a ball, 1-0. Carlos Alvarez on the mound. He came in relief in the 7th inning and got the final 2 men out that frame. Swung on and missed, 1-1 count. This day in baseball history, 1978. The Giants' Willie McCovey hits his 500th career home run, becoming just the 12th member of the 500 home run club. It seems like more guys are hitting their 500th nowadays, but when McCovey did it, it was a sacred thing. It was something that only the elite are involved with. So it was this date, 1978, that McCovey hits number 500. A ball and 2 strikes to Michael Hughes. Good power hitter himself, as he tries to work his way through the Angels system. Alvarez, the lefty, outside pitch, 2-2 the count. Top of the 7th inning, the Angels and the Oakland A's, Anaheim and Oakland, they are still tied up at 2-2. The Angels are at bat right now, and Darren Erstad has a 3-1 count against him. One hopper right to the shortstop, Brandon Carter, and it gets right underneath his legs. It was a tough hop. That ball was ricocheted, but that'll be an error. E6. So Hughes is on first base, and now Caleb Mayer getting set to take his at-bats. Caleb Mayer, who had an infield single in the 1st inning, bringing home a run, tripled in the 5th inning and scored a run. So Caleb Mayer, a 9th-round pick a couple of years ago. Hughes at first base, Alvarez delivering, and it'll be outside. 1 ball, no strikes. 422-8225. That's the number to get all your Provo Angel tickets for the season. Plenty of great seats in the Superbox area and the reserve sections throughout this year. We'll be having a lot of great events. Some more fireworks shows scheduled for the year, and also free massages, free haircuts. So coming out to the ballpark and get involved with Angels baseball. The 1-1 offering by Alvarez, going to be a strike on the outside part of the plate, 1-2. Angels with 10 runs, the Ogden Raptors with 5. All Provo has to do is cruise through the top of the 9th, and they will snap the Ogden Raptors' 5-game win streak. The 1-2 pitch, it looks like Mayer went, and he will head back to the dugout with a strikeout. 1 gone here in the 8th, and Michael Perdomo gets set to take his at-bats.
Number 29, left fielder, Michael Perdomo.
I'll give you another This Date in Baseball History. I love This Date in Baseball Histories. I'll give it to you after this Michael Perdomo pitch. Here it comes by Alvarez. Outside, 1-0. This Date in Baseball History again, 1962. Sandy Koufax striking out 13 batters as he no-hits the Mets 5-0 in L.A. It's the first of 4 no-hitters for Sandy Koufax. One of them will end up being a perfect game. Swing and a miss by Perdomo, 1-1. In fact, 1962 was the year that Koufax really began his string of 5 dominating seasons in the National League before retiring after winning the Cy Young Award. Koufax, a Hall of Famer now. A ball and a strike. Alvarez, he'll throw it outside, 2-1. It's been an offensive game today. In fact, the Raptors even led at one point, but Provo has come back. They've scored 6 unanswered runs to take a 10-5 lead, and Perdomo takes the ball low and outside, 3-1. Michael Perdomo with the hitter's count against him. Joshua LeBlanc in the on-deck circle, who's had a good game. Let's see what Perdomo does. Alvarez waiting, delivering. It's a strike, and Perdomo thought he was going to take a walk. But that'll fill the count up at 3-2. Larry H. Miller pitch black outside. You can't see the mountains anymore. The moon is shining out beyond the right field wall, or I should say up above the right field wall. It's a beautiful full moon tonight. Perdomo hits a shot into left field. Hector Arias will go back, though. It looks like he'll have a play at the warning track. So Perdomo hits it hard and high, but not deep enough, as the left fielder, Hector Arias, recovers it for out number 2. A good shot, though, by Perdomo, and now Joshua LeBlanc gets set to take his at-bats.
Second baseman Joshua LeBlanc.
Joshua LeBlanc has scored a couple runs today. He's also had a couple base hits. He entered the game 3 for 21, but has collected a couple hits today. Pitches inside, gets away from Pujols, the catcher, and Michael Hughes will take second. 1 ball, no strikes to LeBlanc. But Joshua, a .392 career hitter at Southern A&M, a 6th-round pick by the Angels. He struggled to start off the season, but today it looks like he's finally turning things around, being a little more aggressive at the bat. He scored 2 runs, stole a base, and brought home a run. He takes a strike. 1-1. Bottom of the 8th inning. The Angels 10 runs. The Ogden Raptors 5. Alvarez breaking pitch, but high. 2-1. Fernando Rodriguez in line for the victory. And Brian Atkins in line for the loss in this contest. Or excuse me, Phil Sobko in line for the loss. Fouls it back, 2-2 the count. So the Raptors, unless they can score 6 runs on the top of the 9th to take the lead, their 5-game win streak will be snapped at the hands of their rival, the Provo Angels. The Angels have a lot to prove to this league. They started off in a bit of a funk. And this is the defending Southern champions, swung on and missed. LeBlanc ends the inning for out number 3, but the Angels trying to turn things around here in the 2004 season. They're on a good pace as they lead the Raptors by 5 runs. We head to the top of the 9th as the Angels look to end things here at Larry H. Miller Field. We'll be back after this break.
Show your appreciation by patronizing their businesses. On behalf of the Provo Angels management and the Anaheim Angels, we thank you. Looks like a time for the Give Me a Call wireless call to the bullpen. Now on the mound for your Provo Angels, number 21, Jason Cox.
Top of the 9th inning. This is it for the Provo Angels as they look to avoid being swept by the Ogden Raptors. The Raptors beat the Angels in the first 2 games of this series by 1 run, but tonight the Angels have put 10 runs on the board, 14 hits, as they lead the Raptors by 5. Jason Cox now on the mound for Provo. He enters the game. This is his 2nd game of the season. In 8 1/3, he has faced 9 batters this season and gave up 4 runs. but he'll be facing the 9, 1, and 2 hitters for the Ogden Raptors. It'll be Pujols, the catcher, Brandon Carter, the shortstop, and Travis Denker, the second baseman, against Jason Cox. Pujols, 0 for 16 this season with the Ogden Raptors, so he has yet to collect a hit. He's in the 9th spot. First pitch will be fouled straight back and above the press box, 0-1. It's been a good game for the Angels. They scored 3 runs in the bottom of the first, taking a 3-0 lead. The Raptors eventually came back and took a 4-3 lead as they scored a run in the second, third, and 2 in the fourth. So the Raptors had a 4-3 lead. And then in the top of the fourth, the bottom of the fourth inning, the Angels put 3 runs on the board to take a 6-4 lead. And that's pretty much how it's been the entire game. Grounder to Sean Rodriguez. He'll make a play at first. Good throw. A routine 6-3 ground out for out number 1. And the Angels just started scoring runs, including 3 more runs in the bottom of the 7th as they're on top 10-5. Tomorrow, Ronnie Ray will take the mound for the Idaho Fall Chuckers. Currently, Ronnie Ray leads the league in ERA for all pitchers who have pitched in 10 or more innings. Carter takes a strike down the middle, 0-1. So Ronnie Ray will be taking on the Idaho Fall Chuckers. It'll be 3 games, including a doubleheader on Friday, 2 7-inning contests. And that is a makeup game from last week when the power and then the rain started coming down to the ballpark. Just a monsoon. 0-2 to Carter. 1 out on the board, top of the 9th. Cox sets, and it's fouled back to the screen, 0-2. A good amount of fans showing up tonight to support the Angels middle of the week. And they have a pretty good crowd. We also like to thank our barbecue group tonight. They brought 500 people. A lot of them have gone home already. No balls, 2 strikes. 1 hopper right to LeBlanc at second. He'll pick it up, throws over to first. And 2 straight grounds out. So the Raptors down to their final at-bat right here. And it happens to be a guy who has 3 strikeouts on the night. Travis Denker striking out 3 times tonight. Struck out once yesterday. And added 2 other strikeouts in the first game. Denker from the right. First pitch is a strike. Fastball outside part of the plate, 0-1. Jason Cox. A good arm. Next pitch. It'll be popped up but foul as it floats down the right field side. Nobody will have a play on it. It lands near the barbecue pits. 1 strike away from the Angels picking up a victory and avoiding a sweep from the Ogden Raptors. We'll give you one more this date in baseball history. 1908, Cy Young pitches his 3rd career no-hitter. He walked the first man of the game, but then retired the next 27. So Cy Young was obviously a walk away from a perfect game, and it was this date, nearly 100 years ago, that the great Cy Young nearly tossed his 2nd perfect game of his career. Nobody's ever come close to tossing 2 perfects. Actually, yes, Lang Messina has. A ball, 2 strikes. Low one in the dirt, 2-2 counts. Yeah, Messina twice was flirting with a perfect game. He got into the 9th innings before both his perfect games were broken up by singles. So, this is the guy who has done it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cox delivers. Low one in the dirt. Fills things up at 3-2. So Travis Denker battling here in the 9th. A lot of the fans are getting up and starting to leave the ballpark. The full count, here it is. High fly ball to deep left field. That one might be out of here, and it will be as it is over the fence, off the pine tree. And the game not over yet as Denker adds a dent in the baseball, hitting a shot over the Monarch Honda sign in left field. So on a full count, Jason Cox makes a mistake, gives up a home run, a shot to Denker. And it is now a 10-6 Provo Angels lead.
Number 6, third baseman Blake.
And that just turns things back, and you look at the 7th inning when they scored those 3 runs, and it helps out quite a bit. Blake DeWitt from the left, line drive, base hit past the third baseman, Nate Sutton. So DeWitt collecting his first hit of the game. It's a single right through the left side of the infield. So right when you think the game is over, the Raptors start making you think twice. And they're a good hitting team. They've done a great job. They're one of the best teams in the league when hitting in clutch situations. The top batting average in the league for the team. They entered tonight's game hitting a combined .290. A home run by Denker, a base hit by DeWitt. And now Corey Dunlap steps in. He'll take a pitch inside, 1-0. The good thing, though, there's 2 outs on the board. So a fly ball, a ground out, whatever happens, it ends the game. The right-hander getting set. Here's the 1-0 pitch. And low and outside, 2 balls and no strikes. 10-6, Provo Angels leading. Raptors trying to get some sort of a rally going, and Dunlap will swing and miss, 2-1. And get you your final updates in the baseball world after this 2-1 pitch. Here it is, and it'll be fouled back to even things up at 2-2. Rangers lead the Mariners 5-3. They're in the 5th inning. The Angels and the Oakland A's, they're still tied up at 2-2. Out in Los Angeles, the Giants are dominating the Dodgers 7-0. Barry Bonds has hit his 20th home run of the season. And the D-backs leading the Padres 6-5 in the desert. Full count to Corey Dunlap. A 10-6 Provo Angels lead. Jason Cox on the mound making things interesting here. Dunlap from the left, and it's a flare into left field, but Perdomo is underneath it, and that ends the game. So the Provo Angels defeat the Raptors 10 runs, 14 hits against the Ogden Raptors, 6 runs, 12 hits. Stick with us. We'll bring it right back out here to finish things up. The Angels and the Raptors as Provo begins a trip up the Idaho Falls. We'll be back after this break. Final score here at Larry H. Miller Field. The Provo Angels 10 runs on 14 hits. The Ogden Raptors 6 runs on 12 hits. A very good game played by the Angels as they were getting the hits with runners in scoring position. They were making things happen. They weren't striking out a lot. They obviously had a lot of strikeouts today, but they were making consistent contact and being a little more selective than they have been in the past. The Angels, a very good game as the final score 10-6. The Angels get ready to go on the road, taking on the Idaho Falls Chuckers for 3 games. Friday will be a doubleheader, and then the Angels head out to Ogden for 3 games. So the Angels now 5-6 on the season. They snapped the Raptors' 5-game winning streak. A great game for the Provo Angels. Join us tomorrow, same place, same time, as the Angels get ready to take on the Idaho Falls Chuckers. That's it for us here at Larry H. Miller Field. The Angels avoid the sweep. They get the hits when they count the most. We'll see you guys tomorrow night in Idaho Falls. I'm Jacob Peters. And for Zach Frazier, have a great night. And again, go Angels.